Red Soil, Distant Stars. Book 1, The Divide. Episode 2, Under Red Skies. The descent shuttle is nothing like the launch vehicle that carried Jordan away from Earth. That had been brute force, fire and thunder and violence pushing against gravity's grip. This is precision. The shuttle that will take them from the Pioneer down to Mars is sleek, built for atmosphere entry, covered in ablative heat shielding that will burn away as they cut through the thin Martian air. Jordan is strapped into an acceleration couch, Gabriella beside him. Her blonde hair, which has been floating in wild waves for 6 months, curling around her shoulders in ways that Jordan has definitely not been noticing, is tied back now. Practical. Ready. Her eyes catch the cabin lighting as she turns to look at him. Green today, almost emerald. They shift between green and blue depending on some combination of light and mood that Jordan hasn't fully mapped yet. "You nervous?" she asks. Jordan considers lying, decides against it. Terrified. Gabriella's hand finds his, squeezes. Same. There are 30 people in this shuttle. The Pioneer has been emptying its human cargo over the past 3 days, multiple descent vehicles making runs down to Mars, ferrying refugees and supplies. Jordan and Gabriella are in one of the last groups, which means they've had time to watch the earlier descents from the Pioneer's observation modules. Watch the shuttles drop away from the ship, fire retro rockets, angle themselves for entry, then disappear behind Mars's curve, communication cutting out during the plasma blackout of atmospheric entry. 17 minutes of not knowing. 17 minutes of hoping the math is correct, the heat shield holds, the guidance systems work. Then, if everything goes right, the shuttle reappears on the far side of Mars, communications restored, safe descent confirmed. All 23 previous shuttles have made it, but Jordan knows statistics, knows that a perfect track record just means you're due for a failure. That's not pessimism, that's mathematics. The shuttle pilot's voice comes through the cabin speakers. Her accent is Australian, her tone professionally calm. "All right, folks, we're separating from the Pioneer in 30 seconds. Once we detach, there's no going back. If anyone's having second thoughts about emigrating to another planet, now would be the time." Nervous laughter ripples through the cabin. "No takers? Good, because the paperwork would be a nightmare." More laughter, slightly less nervous. Jordan appreciates the pilot's humor, appreciates the attempt to ease tension, but his heart is still hammering, his mouth is dry. His hands, despite Gabriella holding one, are trembling slightly. This is it, the final commitment. Once they leave the Pioneer, once they enter Mars's gravity, well, they're Martians, no matter what happens next. The countdown begins. 10 seconds. 9. 8. Gabriella's grip tightens. 7. 6. 5. Jordan thinks about his father, about Sean Anthony, about the reports that have filtered through encrypted channels during the voyage, reports that Jordan wishes he'd never heard. Reports about detention facilities, about interrogation techniques, about political prisoners being used as leverage, as examples, as warnings. His father is strong. Jordan knows this. Sean Anthony is the kind of man who once walked 20 kilometers through the bush with a broken ankle because giving up wasn't in his vocabulary. The kind of man who built a farm from scrubland through sheer stubbornness and competence. But strength has limits, and the EGC has had 6 months to work on him. 6 months to break him down, to extract information about Chloe's research, to force confessions of crimes he didn't commit, to make him cooperate. 4. 3, 2. Jordan doesn't know if his father is being fed properly, doesn't know if he's been beaten, doesn't know if they're using psychological torture, isolation, sensory deprivation, the kind of techniques that leave no marks but destroy minds. Doesn't know if Sean Anthony thinks his son abandoned him, if he's angry, if he's disappointed, if he understands why Jordan had to run, why Chloe made the choice she did. Doesn't know if his father is even still alive. 1. The clamps release. The shuttle separates from the Pioneer with a series of metallic clangs and hisses. Jordan feels the sudden absence of the larger ship's mass, subtle changes in vibration, in the quality of sound. They're free-falling now, orbiting Mars independently. The pilot fires maneuvering thrusters, gentle pushes that adjust their trajectory, line them up for the deorbit burn. Through the small porthole beside Jordan's couch, he can see the Pioneer receding, the ship that's been home for 6 months growing smaller. Other people are still aboard, more shuttles to launch, more descents to make. But for Jordan, that chapter is closing. And somewhere on Earth, 34 million kilometers away, growing more distant every second, his father exists in some quantum state between alive and dead, free and broken, proud and despairing. Schrodinger's prisoner, unknown until observed. And Jordan can't observe, can't know, can only hope and fear in equal measure. The pilot. Deorbit burn in 60 seconds. This is going to feel like a kick. Don't be alarmed. 60 seconds. Jordan watches the timer count down on the cabin display, watches Mars fill more and more of the porthole's view. The planet is enormous now, real, present. He can see details, the massive shield volcanoes, Olympus Mons rising 21 kilometers above the surrounding plain, so large it would cover the area from Arizona to California if it were transplanted to Earth. The canyon system of Valles Marineris, 4,000 kilometers long, 7 kilometers deep in places. The polar ice caps, white and permanent. And there, faint but visible, the evidence of terraforming. The blue-green tint in certain regions where atmospheric processors have been working for decades. The glint of engineered lakes. The geometric patterns of settlements and solar arrays. Humanity's fingerprints on an alien world. Deorbit burn, now. The shuttle's main engine fires. Jordan is shoved forward against his straps, not hard, not like the launch from Earth, but firmly. The sensation lasts 40 seconds, feels like 4 hours. And then it stops. The engine cuts. Sudden silence except for the hiss of life support and the quiet murmur of people breathing. "We are committed," the pilot announces. "Entry interface in 11 minutes. Strap in tight, folks. This is going to be a ride." 11 minutes. Jordan counts them. Each one longer than the last. Each one carrying him farther from Earth. Farther from his father. Farther from any chance of knowing. Gabriella has gone quiet beside him. Her face is pale, but her jaw is set, determined. She's scared. They're all scared. But she's not letting it paralyze her. Jordan takes strength from that. If she can be brave, so can he. 10 minutes. 9. 8. Mars is filling the entire porthole now. No more seeing it as a planet from orbit. Now it's ground, surface, terrain rushing up to meet them, though they're still 100 kilometers high. 7, 6, 5. Jordan can feel the first whisper of atmosphere. Not much. Mars's air is thin, less than 1% the density of Earth's at sea level. after 130 years of terraforming, active since the 2050s when the first atmospheric processors came online. The pressure has increased from the natural 6 millibars to about 12 millibars. Still nowhere near breathable, still deadly without a pressure suit. But progress. Slow, patient progress. The kind measured in decades and centuries, not years. 4, 3, 2. The shuttle's nose begins to glow, faint orange at first, then brighter, red, yellow. 1. The shuttle hits the atmosphere, and everything becomes fire. Not literally, the fire is outside, the heat shield doing its job, vaporizing layer by layer to carry away the thermal energy of reentry. But through the porthole, Jordan sees nothing but orange-white plasma. The shuttle is wrapped in a cocoon of superheated air, moving at hypersonic speed, friction trying to tear them apart. The cabin shakes, violent, rattling vibration that makes Jordan's teeth click together. His bones feel like they're rattling inside his skin. The straps dig into his chest and shoulders. Beside him, Gabriella makes a small sound. Not quite fear, not quite excitement. Something in between. Jordan wants to say something reassuring. Can't. His jaw is clenched too tight. His whole body is tensed against the deceleration, the shaking. The knowledge that they're currently a meteor, a controlled meteor, but still essentially a rock falling from the sky surrounded by fire. This goes on for 4 minutes, the longest 4 minutes of Jordan's life. Worse than the launch from Earth because then he was fleeing, running on adrenaline and desperation. Now he's arriving, and there's time to think about all the ways this could go wrong. And then, the shaking eases. The plasma glow fades. Through the porthole, Jordan sees sky. Actual Martian sky. Butterscotch orange, dusty and strange, but sky. They've survived entry. They're in atmosphere, subsonic now. The shuttle's wings, small, stubby things designed for the thin air, are actually providing lift. The pilot's voice, still calm. Entry successful. We are flying. Touchdown in 9 minutes. Welcome to Mars, everyone. A cheer goes up in the cabin. Relief, joy, the primal satisfaction of not being dead. Jordan doesn't cheer, just breathes, lets the adrenaline slowly drain. Looks at Gabriella. She's smiling, tears on her face, but smiling. Her green eyes, definitely green now, bright with emotion, meet his. "We made it," she whispers. "We made it," Jordan confirms. The shuttle is descending now, controlled, graceful even. The pilot is good, making adjustments, reading the winds, compensating for the thin air that makes every maneuver touchy. Through the porthole, Jordan watches Mars rise to meet them. Not the abstract Mars of orbital views, but the real planet. Close enough to see individual rocks, craters, ancient riverbeds long dried, dunes of red sand sculpted by winds that have been blowing for eons. And machines. Everywhere machines. Jordan sees them now, moving across the Martian surface like mechanical ants. Some are massive, building-sized haulers, autonomous vehicles the size of apartment blocks, crawling on tracks or wheels designed for the rough terrain. They're mining, digging, extracting. One hauler is so large Jordan can see it clearly from 5 kilometers up. A behemoth made of articulated segments, its front end equipped with drilling apparatus that tears into an ancient lava flow. The back end carries processed material, iron oxide, the red rust that gives Mars its color, hematite, magnetite, raw materials containing iron that Mars has in abundance. The iron will be extracted, processed, turned into steel. The oxygen released during smelting will be captured, added to the atmosphere. Nothing wasted. Every process serving multiple purposes. Another group of machines works a different site, smaller, more agile, excavating what looks like permafrost. Water ice, probably, mixed with Martian regolith. They're harvesting it, loading it into insulated containers. That ice will become drinking water, irrigation, oxygen, rocket fuel. Hydrogen and oxygen separated by electrolysis. And in the distance, kilometers away, visible only as moving specks, more machines. Dozens of them, maybe hundreds, all working continuously. All coordinated by AI systems that never sleep, never complain, never demand wages or benefits or retirement plans. Just relentless, patient labor, building the foundation of a civilization. The shuttle banks, turning. Through the porthole, Jordan sees it. Elysium Dome. And it's not what he expected, not remotely. The main dome rises 500 meters above the Martian surface. 500 meters, taller than most skyscrapers Jordan has seen on Earth. A massive structure of what looks like diamond, though it can't be diamond, must be some advanced composite. Transparent aluminum, maybe, or synthetic sapphire reinforced with carbon nanotubes. Whatever it is, it's designed for this environment. Jordan knows from the educational sessions that the dome material can withstand micrometeorite impacts, small rocks moving at orbital velocities that would shatter normal glass. Can filter deadly solar radiation. Mars has no magnetic field, no ozone layer, nothing to stop the cancer-causing UV and the cell-destroying cosmic rays. Can handle the temperature extremes, negative 120 Celsius at night, positive 20 during the day. The dome is engineering made visible, human ingenuity made physical. But it's more than that. It's beautiful. The structure isn't a simple hemisphere. It's complex, a central dome that branches into smaller domes, connected by graceful arching tunnels that remind Jordan of Gothic cathedral architecture. Some of the auxiliary domes are elevated, rising on pillars like impossible skyscrapers, connected by transparent bridges that seem to float in midair. And beneath it all, a city. Not a survival station, not a research outpost. A city. Buildings rise inside the dome, and Jordan can see immediately that this isn't uniform architecture. This is diversity. Neoclassical structures with columns and symmetry sit beside modernist buildings of glass and steel. There's a structure that looks like it was grown rather than built, organic curves, fractal patterns, something Jordan has never seen on Earth. Alien in the best sense, future-facing. 3 and 4 and 5-story buildings, their designs distinct. Some made from what must be Martian regolith concrete, reddish-brown, textured, solid. Others from composites that gleam in the filtered sunlight. And there, impossible to miss, buildings that are open-planned, their floors extending straight out onto balconies because there's no rain here. No weather inside the dome that would damage exposed spaces. Glass bridges connect buildings at various levels. Ramps spiral between structures. Multi-level plazas create gathering spaces. The whole thing is three-dimensional in a way cities on Earth rarely achieve, utilizing vertical space out of both necessity and possibility. And through it all, green. Parks, gardens, trees, actual trees, earth trees adapted for Mars, growing in soil that's been processed and enriched. Grass, modified grass, that can handle the lower pressure inside the dome, covering open spaces. Water features visible even from the air. Lakes, streams, fountains. Life. Visible. Abundant. Thriving. The shuttle passes over the dome, heading for the landing field outside it. Jordan sees rocket capsules now, dozens of them, visible in the Martian sky, moving in low orbit. Some are ascending, trails of vapor marking their passage. Others are descending toward landing pads scattered around the settlement. It's traffic. Actual traffic. Between settlements, between surface and orbit. Constant movement. The visual language of a place that's growing, building, connecting. Jordan thinks about Earth, about the declining infrastructure, about the airports that process fewer flights every year as the EGC tightens travel restrictions, about the markets that grow emptier as price controls destroy supply chains. And here, on Mars, the supposedly harsh and desperate colony, there's growth. Visible, unmistakable growth. Not because someone mandated it, not because a 5-year plan decreed it, but because people are free to build, to trade, to create value and capture the rewards. The results speak for themselves. The landing is gentle. The pilot sets them down on the pad with barely a bump. Struts extend. Weight settles. They're on the ground. On Mars. For a moment, nobody moves. The cabin is silent. Everyone processing. Everyone adjusting to the reality that they've just done something humans have only been doing for a few decades. Traveled to another planet. Then the pilot. Touchdown confirmed. Welcome to Mars, newcomers. Local time is 1447 hours. Temperature outside is -43 Celsius. Atmospheric pressure is 12.2 millibars. Do not, under any circumstances, attempt to go outside without a pressure suit. You will die. Quickly and unpleasantly. On that cheerful note, please remain seated until the ground crew connects us to the HAB tunnel. Then we'll get you processed and into the dome. Your new lives begin in about 10 minutes. 10 minutes. Jordan uses them to look out the porthole, to see Mars unfiltered by cameras or screens. The real surface. Red-orange rock. Rusty dust. A sky that's the wrong color. Everything alien. Everything impossible. And robots. Jordan sees them now, moving across the landing field with purpose. These aren't the sleek machines he'd glimpsed inside the dome during the flyover. These are industrial models, functional, rugged, built for the hostile environment outside. One robot is roughly humanoid, 2 legs, 2 arms, a sensor-packed head, but clearly not trying to pass for human. Its chassis is matte gray, reinforced against radiation and temperature extremes. It's checking the shuttle's landing struts, running diagnostics, ensuring everything is secure. Moving with mechanical precision, but also something that looks like not intelligence exactly, but competence, purpose. Another robot, this one on 6 wheels, low and stable, is hauling a cargo container across the field. The container is massive, probably several tons, but the robot moves it effortlessly. Jordan can see the battery pack on its back, probably recharged at one of the docking stations visible near the terminal buildings. And there, a spider-like machine, 8 articulated legs, is working on a solar array, repairing damaged panels maybe, or installing new ones. It moves across the structure with the grace of something organic, each leg finding purchase independently, the whole machine adapting to the terrain without apparent effort. All of them working, all of them contributing. Extensions of human will and design, but operating autonomously within parameters set by the AI coordination system. This is the symbiosis his mother had mentioned in her messages. Humans and machines, not humans versus machines, not machines replacing humans, but humans and machines, each doing what they're best suited for. Humans for creativity, judgment, ethics, long-term planning. Machines for repetitive tasks, dangerous work, precision, tireless labor. The combination is more powerful than either alone. The ground crew connects a flexible tunnel to the shuttle's airlock, pressurizes it, gives the all clear. The pilot opens the interior hatch. "All right, everyone, file out orderly. Ground personnel will direct you to processing. Don't forget your carry-on items. And congratulations, you're officially Martians now." People start moving, unstrapping, gathering belongings. There's excited chatter, nervous energy, the slightly clumsy movements of people readjusting to gravity, even Mars's lower gravity after 6 months in space. Jordan and Gabriella wait their turn. When they finally unstrap and stand, Jordan feels the difference immediately. He weighs about a third of what he did on Earth, maybe 50 kilograms instead of 80. His body wants to bound with every step. He has to relearn walking, has to consciously press down, control his movements. It's like being a toddler again, discovering gravity for the first time. Gabriella is having the same problem. She takes a step, nearly, launches herself into the overhead, grabs a handhold, laughs. This is going to take some getting used to. Everything is, Jordan says. They make their way through the tunnel. It's a strange experience, walking through a flexible tube, seeing Mars outside through the transparent sections, knowing that only a few centimeters of fabric and plastic separate them from instant death. The tunnel connects to a larger structure, the arrival facility. It's bustling. Ground crew in pressure suits, personnel in normal clothes, Martian colonists who've been here long enough that this is routine, and other refugees from earlier shuttles, being processed, being welcomed, being integrated, and more robots inside now. These are different from the exterior models, sleeker, cleaner, almost elegant in their minimalism. One glides past on silent wheels, its body a smooth white oval, sensor arrays subtle and integrated. It's carrying a tray of water pouches, distributing them to the arriving passengers. As it passes Jordan, a soft voice, synthesized but pleasant, says, "Welcome to Elysium Dome. Please hydrate. Processing will begin shortly." Gabriella takes a pouch. "Thank you," she says automatically, then pauses. "Do you think it hurt me?" An older man nearby, one of the ground crew, overhears and grins. They hear everything. Whether they care is debatable. That one's name is Aqua 7, Been doing arrivals for 3 years. Good at its job. Names. The robots have names. Jordan files that away, remembers his mother mentioning it. The human tendency to anthropomorphize, to create relationships even with machines. But also the practical aspect. It's easier to coordinate with Aqua 7 than with Hydration Distribution Unit 7. Jordan and Gabriella join a line, are given tablets with forms to complete. Basic information, name, age, skills, preferences for settlement assignment, medical questionnaires, legal acknowledgments that, yes, they understand Mars is dangerous. No, they won't sue if they die. Yes, they accept the social contract. The social contract is interesting. Jordan reads it carefully. It's short, much shorter than the legal documents he remembers from Earth. Basically, you have freedom to do as you please as long as you don't harm others or interfere with essential systems. You have the right to property you earn or create. You have the obligation to contribute to the settlement's survival. Disputes will be arbitrated fairly. Force will only be used in self-defense or defense of the commons. Simple, clear, no room for misinterpretation. Nature's rules, codified. Jordan signs with his thumbprint, becomes officially a resident of Mars. After processing comes the moment Jordan has been anticipating and dreading. Entry into Elysium Dome itself. They're led to an airlock, a much larger one than on the shuttle, big enough for 20 people at once. The outer door closes, pumps hiss, pressure equalizes. The inner door opens, and they step into another world. The first thing Jordan notices is the smell. Not recycled air, actual air. Fresh, growing things, water, life. After 6 months breathing processed atmosphere, it's overwhelming, intoxicating. The second thing is the space. The dome is huge, vast. The ceiling 500 meters above, half a kilometer of open air, diffusing sunlight that's been filtered through the advanced composite material. The light is softer than raw Martian sun, but it's real, natural, full spectrum. And the third thing, this is only the tip of the iceberg. Jordan remembers from the educational sessions. Elysium Dome, what's visible from the surface, is magnificent. But it's just the top layer. Beneath the dome, extending down into the Martian regolith, is a network of tunnels and chambers that goes 10 levels deep in some places. 10 levels. Carved into the rock, reinforced, pressurized, containing living spaces, storage, agricultural facilities, industrial zones, emergency shelters. A vast underground city that houses most of the settlement's actual infrastructure and a significant portion of its population. The dome is for light, for beauty, for psychological health, for connection to the sky and the horizon. But the real city, the working heart of Elysium, is below, protected from radiation, insulated from temperature extremes, safe from micrometeorite strikes, utilizing space that costs less to excavate than to build upward. It's efficient, practical. And it means that what Jordan is looking at, this already impressive city under glass, is maybe 10% of what actually exists here. The rest is hidden, waiting to be discovered. Buildings rise around them as they emerge from the airlock into a plaza. Jordan's eyes are drawn upward, following the architecture. There, a neoclassical building that wouldn't look out of place in ancient Rome. Columns, symmetry, pediment carved with figures. Except the material is Martian regolith concrete, reddish-brown instead of white marble, and the figures carved into the pediment are wearing pressure suits, reaching toward the stars. Beside it, a modernist structure of glass and steel, clean lines, functionalist, but beautiful in its simplicity. The glass is transparent, showing the interior, open floors, people working at desks, robots moving between spaces with quiet efficiency. And across the plaza, something Jordan has never seen before. A building that looks organic, grown. Its walls curve in fractal patterns, surfaces textured like bark or coral. Windows are irregular, following some mathematical principle Jordan doesn't understand, but that looks right to his eye. It's futuristic, not in the retro-futuristic sense of chrome and fins, but genuinely forward-looking. Architecture made possible by advanced materials and computational design tools that didn't exist when Jordan left Earth. Or maybe they existed, but Earth's regulatory environment made them impossible to use, while Mars, free from bureaucratic approval processes, let architects experiment, fail, learn, and build things no committee would ever approve. And between the buildings, bridges. Glass bridges connecting structures at various levels. Not just functional walkways, but architectural statements. Some are simple arches, others are spiral ramps. One looks like it's made of woven crystal, light refracting through it in patterns that hurt to look at, but are mesmerizing. People cross these bridges constantly, walking, jogging, some even running, the low gravity making movement feel effortless. Jordan watches a child jump from a ramp, arc through the air for 3 meters, land laughing on a balcony 1 level up. The mother follows, casual, like this is normal. Because here, it is. And everywhere are robots. A small machine, maybe 30 centimeters tall, rounded and white, almost cute, is tending a garden bed beside the plaza. It's planting something, making precise holes in the soil, dropping seeds, covering them, moving to the next spot, patient, methodical. Gabriella points. Look at that one. Jordan follows her gaze. A larger robot, human-sized, vaguely humanoid but clearly mechanical, is carrying boxes from a delivery vehicle to a building. It's painted with colorful patterns, maybe by children. Across its chest, someone has written in marker, Halbert. A pun, Halbert. Someone named this robot and the name stuck. And judging by the care someone took to decorate it, Halbert is valued, appreciated, maybe even liked. Jordan thinks about the robots on Earth, mostly industrial, kept behind fences, viewed with suspicion and resentment because they take jobs. The EGC has regulations limiting robotic automation, protecting employment, ensuring humans can't be fully replaced. Which sounds humane until you realize it makes everything more expensive, less efficient, and keeps people locked into jobs they hate doing work that machines could handle better. Here, there's no such restriction. Robots do what robots do well. Humans do what humans do well. And everyone benefits because the total productivity, the total wealth created, is higher. which means higher standards of living, more resources for luxuries like gardens and parks and art. Trade-offs, always trade-offs. Mars chose efficiency and abundance over guaranteed employment, and the result is visible everywhere. Chloe's voice cuts through Jordan's observations. "Jordan?" He turns. His mother stands maybe 10 meters away. Chloe Anthony. She looks older than he remembers. 6 months of worry will do that. Her dark hair has more gray. Her face is thinner. But her eyes, intelligent, fierce, full of love, those haven't changed. "Mom," Jordan says. His voice cracks on the word. And then he's moving, not walking. The low gravity turns his urgency into bounds, great leaping strides that close the distance in seconds. His mother meets him halfway. They collide, embrace, hold on like they're drowning, and each other is air. Jordan is crying. Didn't realize it until now, but tears are streaming down his face. 6 months of held grief and fear and loneliness pouring out in his mother's arms. "You made it," Chloe says. She's crying too. "You made it, baby. You're safe. You're here." "I was so scared," Jordan admits. Doesn't care that he's 16 and supposed to be tough. Doesn't care that people are watching. Just needs to say it. "I didn't know if you were alive. If Dad was..." His voice breaks. "If I'd make it. If any of this was real." Chloe pulls back slightly, holds Jordan's face in her hands, looks at him with those fierce eyes. "You're here. You're safe. And you're going to build an incredible life on this planet. I promise you that." Jordan wants to ask about his father. The question is burning in his throat, but he can see in his mother's face, sees the pain, the uncertainty, the fear she's holding back, and he knows. She doesn't have good news, doesn't have reassurance. So he just holds her, and she holds him, and they stand there in the plaza while people flow around them and robots go about their tasks and life on Mars continues with its relentless, patient rhythm. After a moment, Chloe composes herself, steps back, notices Gabriella standing awkwardly nearby, trying to give them privacy but not having anywhere else to go. "You must be Gabriella," Chloe says. "Jordan mentioned you in his messages from the ship." Gabriella looks startled. "He did?" Chloe smiles. "He did. Said you were helping him adapt, keeping him sane, teaching him things. That's valuable work on a 6-month voyage." Gabriella's cheeks color slightly. "He helped me too. We helped each other, I guess." Chloe looks between them. Something crosses her face. Understanding, maybe. Approval. "Good. You'll need each other here, too. Mars is incredible, but it's not easy. Having someone who understands where you came from, that matters." She turns back to Jordan. "Come on. Let me show you your new home. Your quarters are ready. And I want you to meet some people. Important people who've been asking about you." "Important people?" Jordan asks. "You'll see," Chloe says. Her smile is mysterious. "Mars has plans for you, Jordan, both of you. But first, let me show you what we've built here, the whole thing, not just the pretty parts above ground." She starts walking. Jordan and Gabriella follow, and as they walk through the plaza, Jordan's eyes are everywhere, taking in details. The people, diverse, purposeful, moving with the confidence of those who've found their place. The architecture, bold, varied, experimental. The robots, integrated, useful, accepted. And above, through the transparent dome material, the Martian sky, butterscotch orange, strange, alien, beautiful in its own harsh way. Home. Impossible, improbable, fragile, but home nonetheless. Part 5. Beneath the surface. The elevator descends. Not an elevator in the Earth sense. No cables, no counterweights, no claustrophobic box crawling down a shaft. This is a pressure-controlled transit capsule, moving through a reinforced tunnel carved into Martian bedrock. Smooth, silent except for the gentle hum of magnetic levitation. Jordan watches the depth indicator on the wall display. Surface level, -10 meters, -20, -50. The numbers keep climbing, or falling, depending on how you think about it. -100 meters, still descending. Chloe stands beside him, one hand resting on the capsule's railing. Gabriella is on his other side, her green eyes wide as she takes in everything. Around them are 10 other new arrivals, refugees from other shuttles, all being given the same orientation tour. Most people think of Elysium as what they see under the dome, Chloe says. Her voice carries easily in the capsule's acoustics. The parks, the buildings, the open sky. But that's just the visible part, the showcase. What you're about to see is the real city, where most of us actually live and work. -150 meters, 200, 250. Jordan feels the pressure change subtly. His ears pop. The capsule's systems are adjusting, maintaining comfortable pressure as they descend deeper into Mars. At -300 meters, the capsule slows, stops. The doors slide open with a pneumatic hiss, and Jordan steps into a world he didn't know existed. The underground level stretches in every direction. Not a cave. There's nothing natural about this. It's a constructed space. Vast. The ceiling is maybe 20 meters high, supported by pillars carved directly from bedrock and reinforced with some kind of composite material that gleams under LED lighting. The lighting itself is remarkable. Not harsh, not the fluorescent sterility Jordan associates with underground spaces. This is warm, full spectrum, designed to mimic natural daylight even 300 meters below the surface. And there are people, hundreds of people, moving through wide corridors, entering and exiting buildings that have been constructed in the excavated chambers, living their lives, working, talking, laughing. This is level 3, Chloe explains. Primarily residential and light commercial, apartments, shops, restaurants, community spaces. About 8,000 people live on this level. 8,000 on one level, and there are 10 levels. Jordan does the math. If each level houses similar populations and accounting for the deeper levels being more industrial, Elysium Dome might have a total population of 60 or 70,000 people. Maybe more. He'd known Mars settlements were larger than Earth media claimed, but this is a full-scale city, hidden, protected, thriving beneath the surface of a planet that wants to kill you. They walk. The group follows Chloe through the corridors. Jordan's eyes are everywhere, trying to absorb details. The walls are smooth, carved regolith, probably melted and fused by some kind of thermal boring equipment. The surface has been treated, sealed, painted in warm earth tones. Art hangs on some walls, paintings, photographs, what looks like textile work, making the space feel lived in, human. Robots move through the corridors alongside people. These are different from the exterior industrial models Jordan saw at the landing field. Sleeker, smaller, purpose-built for indoor environments. One robot, about waist-high, on 4 wheels with an articulated arm, is watering plants in elevated planters along the corridor walls. Real plants, ferns and ivy, and something with purple flowers Jordan doesn't recognize. The robot moves from plant to plant with patient precision, checking soil moisture, adjusting water delivery, occasionally removing a dead leaf. Gabriella watches it. "That's beautiful," she says quietly. "The programming must be incredibly sophisticated, identifying individual plant needs, adjusting in real time." An older woman walking past overhears, smiles. "That's Sprout 3. Been tending these corridors for 2 years. Does better than I ever did, and I used to be a botanist." She says it without resentment, without the bitterness Jordan would expect from an earthworker whose job was automated away. Just matter-of-fact appreciation for competence. Because here, the botanist isn't unemployed. She's doing something else. Something that uses her knowledge in ways a robot can't replicate. Maybe designing new plant systems. Maybe teaching. Maybe researching adaptations for Martian conditions. The robots handle the repetitive maintenance. Humans handle the creative work. And everyone benefits. Chloe leads them to a residential section, shows them typical living quarters. The apartments are small by Earth standards, maybe 40 square meters for a 1-bedroom unit. But they're well designed, efficient, and prominently displayed near the entrance to each building is a board showing current rental rates. One of the refugees, a woman from Germany, stops to look at the board. "These prices, they change?" "Daily," Chloe confirms. "Sometimes hourly, depending on demand." Apartment rents on Mars aren't set by committees or housing authorities. They're set by supply and demand. Pure price discovery. Another refugee frowns. "But doesn't that mean landlords can gouge people? Charge whatever they want?" Chloe shakes her head. "They can try, but here's the thing. There's competition. If Building A charges too much, people move to Building B, and Building A sits empty, earning nothing. Landlords learn very quickly what the market will bear. More importantly," she continues, "there are no restrictions on building. If housing is profitable, people build more housing. Supply increases. Prices stabilize or fall. It's self-correcting." Jordan remembers his economics lessons, the ones his teacher gave despite the approved curriculum. Supply and demand, price signals, the way markets coordinate information that no central planner could ever process. "But what about poor people?" another refugee asks. "What if they can't afford market rates?" Chloe considers the question seriously. First, understand that poor is relative. Mars has essentially 0 unemployment. Anyone willing to work can find work because we're growing so fast. A new arrival might start with menial labor, loading docks, maintenance, whatever, but they're earning from day one. Second, she continues, housing prices reflect real costs. It's expensive to carve out space underground, to reinforce it, to pressurize it, to maintain it. Those costs exist whether we acknowledge them or not. Price controls don't eliminate costs. They just hide them and create shortages. On Earth, rent control sounds compassionate. And maybe for the people lucky enough to get a controlled apartment, it is. But what about everyone else? the ones who can't find housing because nobody's building new units since it's not profitable. They suffer. The waiting lists grow. Quality deteriorates because landlords can't afford maintenance. Jordan thinks about Pretoria, about Cape Town, about the housing shortages, the crumbling apartment blocks, the years-long waiting lists for government housing, while private construction was buried in regulations and permits and restrictions. Chloe gestures at the board. Here, prices adjust instantly to reality. If you can't afford building A, you look at building B or C, or you find a roommate, or you work more hours and earn more, or you live somewhere cheaper temporarily while you build skills that command higher wages. It's not perfect, she admits. Some people struggle, but struggling is visible. You can see it and respond. Friends help. Mutual aid societies step in. Communities take care of their own. What you don't have is invisible suffering, hidden behind price controls and rationing systems that look fair on paper, but create misery in practice. That's the key insight, Chloe says. The economist Thomas Sowell explained it best. You're not choosing between perfect solutions and flawed markets. You're choosing between different trade-offs. Markets create some problems, but they solve them through price signals and innovation. Central planning also creates problems, but it solves them slowly, if at all, and often makes them worse. She points to the board again. These prices are information. They tell builders where housing is needed. They tell workers where wages are highest. They coordinate millions of decisions without anyone having to be in charge. That's the miracle of markets. They harness self-interest for the common good. Jordan watches people flowing through the residential area, entering apartments, talking in courtyards, living their lives. And he realizes this works because of the pricing system, not despite it. Because everyone can see the real costs. Because there are no hidden subsidies or political favors distorting the signals. It's honest, like nature, like the predator and prey. The costs are visible and you pay them or you adapt. They descend again, level 4. This level is different, more industrial. Jordan sees workshops, manufacturing spaces, 3D printing facilities that are producing components from raw Martian materials. The air smells different here, metallic, chemical. The smell of production. And more robots, everywhere, working alongside humans in the facilities. Jordan watches a fabrication bay where something complex is being assembled. The main structure is being built by large robotic arms, precise, fast, tireless. But humans are supervising, making adjustments, handling the problem-solving that requires judgment rather than just execution. One worker, a woman in coveralls, safety glasses pushed up on her forehead, waves at Chloe, walks over. Dr. Anthony, these the new arrivals? Chloe nods. Orientation tour, showing them the real Elysium. The worker grins at the group. Welcome to the guts. Not as pretty as topside, but this is where the magic happens. What you're seeing, she gestures at the fabrication bay, is a new atmospheric processor, 6th generation, more efficient than the old models. When it's done, it'll increase our oxygen production by 8%. Oxygen production. Jordan files that away. The foundation of everything here. Can't have a city without breathable air. Can't have breathable air without massive, reliable atmospheric processing. How long until it's operational? Chloe asks. The worker shrugs. 3 weeks, maybe. Depends on whether we hit any snags in the assembly. But the design is solid. Your husband's work, actually. Jordan's head snaps up. My father worked on this? The worker looks confused for a moment. Then understanding crosses her face. Oh, you're Jordan. Sorry, didn't make the connection. Yeah, Sean Anthony consulted on the atmospheric chemistry side before. She stops. Awkward. Before he went back to Earth. Went back to Earth. That's the polite fiction. Better than before he was arrested or before the EGC took him. Jordan swallows hard. Did you know him? Not well, the worker says gently. But I attended a couple of his lectures. Smart man. Really understood closed-loop life support systems. We miss his expertise. They move on, but Jordan's mind stays with that fabrication bay, with the atmospheric processor his father helped design. With the knowledge that Sean Anthony's work, his intelligence, his competence, is still contributing to Mars's survival, even though he's trapped on Earth. Even though he might be suffering, might be broken, might be dead. Jordan pushes the thought down. Can't think about it now. Can't let it paralyze him. Focus on what you can control. Level 5. Agricultural. This is where most of Elysium's food is grown. But before they enter the main chambers, Chloe stops the group at a preparation station. Before we go in, she says, you need to understand something about optimal growing conditions, and you need to put these on. She hands out breathing masks connected to small oxygen tanks. The refugees look at each other nervously. The agricultural chambers are enriched with carbon dioxide, Chloe explains as she helps people adjust their masks. We maintain CO2 levels around 1,200 parts per million in the growing areas. That's about 3 times the current atmospheric concentration on Earth. One of the refugees, the man from Brazil, asks through his mask, "Isn't that dangerous?" Chloe smiles. Not at these levels. Uncomfortable without supplemental oxygen, yes, but not harmful for the short time we'll be inside. And for the plants, it's optimal. This is what they're adapted for, what they prefer. She leads them to a viewing window before they enter. Through the transparent barrier, Jordan can see the first chamber, and his breath catches. The plants are enormous. Not just large, enormous. Tomato plants that are 3 meters tall, vines thick as Jordan's wrist, fruit the size of softballs hanging in clusters, lettuce heads that look like they belong in a giant's garden, potato plants sprawling across entire sections of growing bed, their leaves broad and lush and impossibly green. This is what plants want, Chloe says. Her voice carries reverence, scientific wonder. This is what Earth's atmosphere used to be like, what it was like when plants first evolved, when the dinosaurs walked, when life was lush and abundant. She pulls up a display on a nearby terminal, shows a graph of Earth's atmospheric CO2 over geological time. Look at this. During the Cambrian period, 540 million years ago, CO2 levels were over 7,000 parts per million. During the Jurassic, when dinosaurs were at their peak, it was around 1900 ppm. Plants thrived. Life exploded in diversity and scale. Earth's current CO2 level, just over 400 ppm, is historically low. We're coming out of an ice age. The planet has been carbon-starved. The early 2000s, when all the climate panic was happening, CO2 was around 380 ppm, near the lowest levels in the last 500 million years. Jordan stares at the graph, at the geological timeline showing CO2 fluctuating wildly over Earth's history, sometimes 10 times higher than modern levels, sometimes lower. The planet breathing, changing, adapting. But they told us, one of the refugees starts, on Earth they said CO2 was poison, that we were destroying the planet, that... Chloe's expression hardens slightly. What they told you was politics dressed up as science. Yes, CO2 affects temperature, but it's not the primary driver of climate. The sun is. Solar activity. The magnetic cycles that govern solar output. Earth's orbital variations. Those are the big factors. The sun isn't constant, she continues. It goes through cycles, active periods and quiet periods. Right now, in the 2180s, we're in a relatively quiet phase. Solar output is down about 0.5% from the peak in the late 20th century. That might not sound like much, but it has enormous effects on climate. And Mars knows this intimately. Our climate is even more sensitive to solar variation because we have no oceans to buffer temperature changes, no thick atmosphere to store heat. When the sun quiets, Mars gets colder. When it's active, we get warmer. We can measure it year to year. We can't ignore it or blame it on human activity because there is no significant human activity affecting Mars's climate yet. Gabriella asks, so the climate science on Earth, it was wrong? Chloe chooses her words carefully. The basic physics wasn't wrong. CO2 does absorb infrared radiation. It does have a warming effect. But the models were massively oversimplified. They ignored solar variability. They ignored cloud formation feedback loops. They ignored the fact that water vapor, noting CO2, is the primary greenhouse gas. More importantly, she adds, the politics around climate science became toxic. Scientists who questioned the models lost funding. Papers that didn't fit the narrative were rejected. The science became settled by decree rather than by evidence. And that's not science anymore. That's ideology. Jordan thinks about the propaganda on Earth, the constant drumbeat of climate crisis, the regulations strangling industry, the carbon taxes making energy unaffordable, all justified by models that, apparently, were missing huge pieces of the puzzle. And here, on Mars, where survival depends on understanding climate, reality, where you can't afford to be wrong because mistakes kill people, they're learning that Earth's climate science was as much political as scientific. Chloe gestures to the chamber. So we give our plants what they actually need: high CO2, optimal light wavelengths, controlled temperature and humidity. And they respond by growing like their ancestors did when Earth's atmosphere was richer, bigger, faster, more productive. They don breathing masks and enter the chamber. The scale is staggering. The chamber is maybe 100 meters on a side, ceilings 10 meters high, and every surface, walls, floors, elevated racks, is covered with growing systems, vertical agriculture arrays, shelves stacked 20 high, each shelf containing hydroponic or aeroponic growing beds. LED lights tuned to specific wavelengths for optimal plant growth, heavy in the red and blue spectrums that chlorophyll absorbs most efficiently. Nutrient delivery systems monitored and adjusted by AI, temperature and humidity controlled to the decimal point. And the air, even through the mask, Jordan can smell it. Rich, organic. The smell of life in a way he hasn't experienced since leaving Earth. Robots move through the chamber, dozens of them, tending plants, harvesting, replanting, moving with choreographed precision through the narrow spaces between racks. But humans, too, monitoring, adjusting parameters, handling the higher-level decisions that require understanding rather than just execution. One human, a young man in his 20s, lean and fit, wearing work clothes, is examining a section of tomato plants. He looks up as the tour group passes, makes eye contact with Jordan, nods friendly. Jordan nods back. Something about the guy seems solid, competent, the kind of person Jordan's father would have respected. Right now, Jordan is just absorbing the chamber. The massive scale of food production, the efficiency, the way everything works together, humans, robots, plants, systems, each piece optimized for its function. Chloe walks them through the chamber, explaining the systems. This level produces about 40% of Elysium's food. The rest comes from surface greenhouses, different facilities, larger but less controlled. We're aiming for complete food independence. Right now, we import maybe 10% from Earth. Luxury items mostly. Coffee, chocolate, spices that don't grow well here yet. Yet, one of the refugees repeats. You think you'll be able to grow everything eventually? Eventually, Chloe confirms. It's just a matter of time and genetic engineering. We're adapting crops constantly, making them more efficient, more robust, better suited to our controlled environments and high CO2. In 10 years, maybe 15, we won't need anything from Earth, nutritionally or agriculturally. What about economically? Gabriella asks. Can
Mars survive without Earth's markets? Chloe's expression becomes more serious. That's the question, isn't it? And the answer is, we're about to find out. Earth is already implementing embargoes, cutting off financial transfers, restricting trade. They're trying to strangle us economically, force us to submit. Will it work? Jordan asks. Chloe meets his eyes. No, because we've been preparing for this. Mars settlements have been building self-sufficiency for decades. We knew this was coming. Earth's rulers can't tolerate our existence, can't tolerate proof that their system isn't necessary. So, we planned accordingly. But it won't be easy, she adds. There will be shortages, adjustments. Some luxuries will disappear. Some people will suffer. That's the trade-off. Independence costs. But the alternative, submission to the EGC, costs more. They remove their masks after exiting the chamber. The regular air feels thin now after breathing oxygen-enriched atmosphere. Jordan's head spins slightly as his body adjusts. They descend further. Levels 6 and 7 are industrial, heavy manufacturing, resource processing, power generation. The equipment here is massive. Fusion reactors providing power, chemical plants converting Martian raw materials into useful compounds, recycling facilities that reclaim and purify water, air, and waste products. Jordan sees a demonstration of the recycling process. It's impressively efficient. Mars has to be. Can't afford to waste anything. Every molecule of water is precious. Every atom of nitrogen or carbon or phosphorus. The closed-loop systems recover 98% of everything. The remaining 2% has to be replaced by mining, by extracting resources from Mars itself. Which brings them to level 8, mining operations, raw material storage, loading docks where autonomous vehicles arrive from the surface, carrying payloads of excavated regolith, ice, minerals. Jordan watches one vehicle arrive, a massive thing, 20 meters long, moving on 12 articulated wheels. Its cargo bay holds maybe 50 tons of material, iron-rich regolith, judging by the dark red-brown color. The vehicle parks itself at a loading dock. Automated systems engage. The cargo bay tilts. Material slides into a receiving hopper. Processing equipment begins immediately, separating, sorting, routing different materials to different facilities. Iron oxide will be reduced to pure iron. Oxygen released in the process, captured and added to the atmospheric processors. The iron used for steel production. Everything serving multiple purposes. Nothing wasted. Other materials too. Magnesium sulfate for industrial chemistry. Silicon dioxide for glass and solar panels. Water ice for life support and rocket fuel. Rare earth elements for electronics. Mars has everything needed for a technological civilization. It just needs to be extracted and processed. And robots handle it all. From the vehicle that did the mining, to the sorting systems, to the transport mechanisms that distribute materials throughout the settlement. Humans supervise, monitor, troubleshoot. But the actual labor, the dangerous, repetitive, tireless work, belongs to machines. Gabriella is watching with fascination. The coordination, she murmurs. The logistics. How do you manage all this? Chloe smiles. That's where you come in. That's your skill set, isn't it? Systems optimization. Network architecture. The AI that coordinates all this needs constant refinement. We're always hitting bottlenecks, inefficiencies. People like you, people who can see the system as a whole and identify improvements. You're invaluable here. Gabriella's eyes light up. Jordan sees it. The spark of purpose. The excitement of someone who's found meaningful work. And he feels something. Not quite jealousy, but awareness. Gabriella has found her place already. Her skills are obviously needed. She'll integrate quickly, be given responsibility, become essential. Jordan's skills, hunting, tracking, fieldcraft, feel less immediately relevant. What use is knowing how to stalk springbok when you're living underground on Mars? As if reading his mind, Chloe touches his shoulder. Come on. There's someone who wants to meet you. Someone who can explain where you fit into all this. They take another elevator. This one goes up, back toward the surface levels. But not all the way. They stop at level 2, just below the dome. The corridor here is different, more sparse, more functional. Jordan sees signage, wildlife management, ecological systems, terraforming operations, and security. Actual security personnel. Armed, not robots. Humans. Wearing body armor. Carrying weapons that look very real. Jordan's instincts prick up. Something important is here. Something being protected. Chloe leads them to a conference room. Inside, several people are waiting. Jordan recognizes one immediately. Marcus Webb, the tactical instructor from the Pioneer. The older man stands, extends a hand. Jordan, Gabriella, good to see you made it down safely. His grip is firm. Welcome to the real work. Chloe makes introductions. The others in the room are settlement leadership, Director of Security, Head of Ecological Systems, Agricultural Coordinator, Economic Planning Chief. Important people. The kind who make decisions that affect thousands of lives. And they're all looking at Jordan with expectation. The Director of Security, a woman named Carmen Okafor, maybe 50, with the bearing of someone who's seen combat, speaks first. Mr. Anthony, your mother has told us about your background. Hunting, tracking, fieldcraft, wildlife management aspirations. That's valuable experience. Rare, actually. Most people coming to Mars are urban, technical. They understand systems and computers. Very few understand predation. Jordan blinks. Predation? Marcus leans forward. Mars is building an ecosystem. Your mother's work, genetic modification, species adaptation, that's the foundation. But there's a piece that most people don't think about, can't think about because they've never experienced it. Predators, Jordan says quietly, understanding. Marcus nods. Predators. Every ecosystem needs them. Not just for population control, though that matters, but for selection pressure, for keeping prey species healthy, for preventing overgrazing, for maintaining the balance that makes a system stable rather than chaotic. The head of ecological systems, a man introduced as Dr. Reeves, adds, "We're introducing modified herbivores to surface test ranges. Saiga antelope adapted for low pressure and high radiation. Patagonian mara. Eventually larger species, but we need predators to manage them, to fill the ecological role that's been empty." You want to introduce predators to Mars, Jordan says slowly. Actual predators. Carnivores. Modified carnivores, Dr. Reeves clarifies. Genetically engineered for the environment. But yes, the question is, who manages them? Who understands their behavior well enough to monitor them, to intervene when necessary, to build the populations sustainably? Not many people, Marcus says, but you're one of them. You've hunted, you've tracked, you've watched predator-prey dynamics in the wild. That experiential knowledge, that intuition, it can't be replicated with books and simulations. Jordan feels something unfamiliar. Pride, purpose, the sense that maybe, just maybe, his background isn't a liability here. Maybe it's an asset. Carmen Okafor speaks again. But there's more. The wildlife program isn't just about ecology. It's about security. Jordan frowns. How? Because Earth is going to come for us, Carmen says bluntly. Maybe not tomorrow, maybe not this year, but they will. And when they do, Mars needs every advantage, including unconventional ones. Modified predators can serve dual purposes: ecological management and perimeter security. Animals adapted to Martian conditions, trained to patrol sensitive areas, to detect intrusions, to provide early warning. Think of them as biological sensors combined with potential deterrents. Jordan's mind races. Guard animals. It makes sense in a harsh way. Dogs have served that role for thousands of years on Earth. Why not adapted carnivores on Mars? But also, this is militarization. This is preparation for conflict. Real conflict. I'm not a soldier, Jordan says quietly. Marcus's expression is gentle but firm. Not yet, but you could be. Your mother said your father taught you to shoot, to think tactically, to make decisions under pressure. Those are starting points. We can build on them. Why me? Jordan asks. There must be people with actual military experience. People who, rising. There are, Carmen interrupts, and they're training recruits right now. But Jordan, we don't just need soldiers. We need leaders. People who understand nature's rules. People who can think strategically because they've internalized how systems work, how trade-offs function, how resources constrain possibilities. Your mother speaks very highly of your judgment. Marcus says you adapted quickly aboard the Pioneer, showed initiative, showed empathy. Those qualities, combined with your practical skills, make you someone worth investing in. Jordan looks at Gabriella. She's watching him, her green eyes serious, supportive. But also, he can see it, relieved that this conversation isn't about her. She has her path: systems optimization, network architecture, safe work, important but not dangerous. And Jordan is being offered something different, something that will put him in harm's way, that will require him to become someone he's not sure he wants to be. But he thinks about his father, about Sean Anthony, trapped on Earth, about the reports of torture, of political prisoners being broken. He thinks about the cheetah and the springbok, about predator and prey, about the honesty of violence in nature. And he thinks about trade-offs, about what it costs to protect something worth protecting. Okay, Jordan says, I'm in. Whatever training you need me to do, whatever role you need me to fill, I'll do it. Marcus smiles. Good man. We start tomorrow. 0600 hours. Level 9. Bring determination and comfortable shoes. Everything else we'll provide. Level 9. Jordan hasn't seen Level 9 yet. Doesn't know what's down there. But tomorrow, he'll find out. The meeting concludes. Paperwork is signed. Assignments are formalized. Gabriella is directed to the Systems Coordination Office. She'll start her orientation there in 2 days. And then Chloe is leading them back to the residential levels. back to the quarters she's arranged, back to the beginning of their new lives. They emerge into the dome. The afternoon light, filtered through 500 meters of advanced composite, is golden, warm. The city spreads around them. People going about their lives. Robots working quietly alongside them. Everything functioning with the smooth efficiency of a well-designed system. It's beautiful, fragile, worth defending. And Jordan is going to learn how to defend it. His quarters are in a building Chloe showed them earlier. 3 stories. Regolith concrete walls. Large windows facing a communal garden where fruit trees grow in processed soil. Jordan's
Apartment is on the 2nd floor.
1 room. Small kitchen. Bathroom with an actual shower. Window overlooking the garden, where he can see Mars beyond the dome. Red rock stretching to the horizon under that butterscotch sky. He stands at the window for a long time. Gabriella stands beside him, neither speaking, just processing. Finally, Gabriella says, "This is real, isn't it? We're really doing this, building lives here." "Yeah," Jordan says, "we are." "Are you scared?" she asks. "About the training? About what they're asking you to do?" Jordan thinks about it. Is he scared? Yes. But also excited. Purposeful. Like pieces are falling into place even though he can't see the full picture yet. "I'm scared," he admits. "But I'm also ready." Does that make sense? Gabriella nods. It does. She's quiet for a moment. Then, "Jordan, I want you to know, whatever happens, whatever paths we end up on, I'm glad we made this journey together. I'm glad I know you." Her green eyes meet his, and there's something in them, something unspoken, something that makes Jordan's heart do complicated things. "I'm glad too," he manages. And they stand there, close, in the golden light. 2 refugees from Earth. 2 people building new lives on an impossible world. The moment stretches, comfortable, charged, full of potential. But not yet. Not yet. "Get some rest," Gabriella says finally. "You have a big day tomorrow. 0600 hours. That's..." She checks her new Mars issue timepiece. 9 hours from now. She smiles, squeezes his hand, and then she's gone, down to her own quarters on the ground floor. Jordan stands at the window alone, watching Mars, thinking about everything. About his father, somewhere on Earth, unknown, possibly suffering. About his mother, working to build something new here. About Gabriella and whatever's developing between them. About the training that starts tomorrow. About the future that's uncertain and dangerous and full of impossible challenges. And he thinks about the cheetah and the springbok, about predator and prey, about the honesty of violence, about trade-offs, about CO2 and plants
and solar cycles, and all the things Earth's authorities lied about because admitting the truth would have undermined their control. There are no solutions, only trade-offs, and Jordan has chosen his path. Now he just has to survive it. Part 6. The Crucible. The alarm wakes Jordan at 05:30. Not a gentle wake-up, a sharp, insistent tone designed to cut through sleep and pull you into consciousness whether you're ready or not. Jordan's hand fumbles for the control, silences it, and for a moment, he just lies there in the darkness of his apartment. Mars darkness. 300 meters underground, no natural light reaches here. The only illumination is what he allows, and right now, that's nothing. Just the faint glow of the time display showing 05:30:00 in cool blue digits. He sits up. His body feels strange, light, wrong. Even after 2 days on Mars, his Earth-trained instincts are still adjusting to the lower gravity. Every movement has a bounce to it, a floating quality that makes him feel simultaneously powerful and uncoordinated. 6 hours of sleep. Not enough, really. But it'll have to be. Level 9 awaits. Training awaits. Whatever Marcus Webb has planned for him awaits. And Jordan doesn't want to be late for his first day. He showers quickly. The water is warm but rationed. A timer in the stall shows him exactly how much he's using, how much it costs in terms of energy and processing. Everything on Mars is transparent. Every resource has a visible price. It's honest. No hidden costs. No subsidies making you think water is free when it's actually expensive as hell to recycle and purify. You see what you're using. You pay for it. You adjust your behavior accordingly. Jordan dresses in the clothes Chloe left for him. Mars work clothes, synthetic fabrics, durable, pocketed for tools and equipment. Comfortable in the controlled environment, but also capable of being worn under a pressure suit if necessary. He eats a quick breakfast, a nutrient bar that tastes vaguely of oats and berries, probably grown in Level 5's agricultural chambers. A pouch of water. Efficient. Functional. Not particularly enjoyable, but adequate. And then he's out the door, taking the elevator down. Surface level. Minus 300 meters. Minus 600. Minus 900 meters. Level 9. The doors open, and Jordan steps into a different world. This isn't like the other levels. This is sparse, utilitarian. The corridors are wider, the ceilings higher. The walls are bare reinforced regolith. No paint, no art, no softening touches. Just raw function. And security. Everywhere. Cameras, access control panels, automated defense systems that Jordan recognizes from his firearms training. Weapon ports that can deploy remotely operated turrets if there's an intrusion. This is Level 9, the military and security level, the place where Mars prepares to defend itself. Jordan follows the signs. Training Complex Alpha, down a corridor, through a security checkpoint where a human guard, not a robot, scans his identification, checks his authorization, nods him through. And then into a large chamber. It's a gymnasium, but not like any gymnasium Jordan has seen on Earth. The space is enormous,
maybe 200 meters long, 100 wide, ceilings 15 meters high, and every surface is designed for training in Mars gravity. There are climbing walls that soar up to the ceiling, obstacle courses with gaps that would be impossible to jump on Earth, but are just barely manageable here. Rope systems, balance beams, platforms at various heights, and in one section, Jordan's eyes widen. What looks like a combat range with targeting systems and ballistic barriers. And people. Maybe 40 people scattered throughout the space. Some are running laps around the perimeter. Others are climbing. Others are on the combat range, the sharp crack of gunfire echoing through the chamber. These are the recruits, the people training to defend Mars. Jordan sees diversity, men and women, young and old, though nobody looks over 40. Different builds, different backgrounds, but all of them moving with purpose. And all of them, Jordan notices, look fit. Not bodybuilder fit, not the aesthetic fitness of Earth gyms where people train for appearance. This is functional fitness, lean, hard, the kind that comes from actually using your body for difficult tasks rather than just exercising it for show. Marcus Webb appears from somewhere in the complex. He's wearing training gear, simple shorts and a shirt, nothing fancy. He looks exactly like someone who's been doing this kind of work for decades. Weathered, competent, comfortable in his own skin. "Anthony, good, you're early. I like that." He claps Jordan on the shoulder. "Come on, let me introduce you to your cohort." Cohort. Military terminology. Jordan is really doing this. They walk across the gym floor. Marcus leads him to a section where a group of about 15 people are gathered. Some are stretching, others are checking equipment. All of them look up as Marcus approaches. "Listen up," Marcus says. His voice carries authority without shouting. "This is Jordan Anthony, just arrived from Earth 3 days ago. He's joining your cohort. Jordan, meet Group 7. There's a moment of assessment. The group looking at Jordan, Jordan looking back, sizing each other up the way humans always do when introduced to new tribe members. Then a young man steps forward. He's lean, maybe 22 or 23, with dark hair and Asian features. He extends a hand. Darian Chen, no relation to the old instructor. He grins. "Welcome to the Pain Factory." Jordan shakes his hand, recognizes him immediately. This is the guy from the agricultural chamber, the one tending tomato plants, the one who'd seemed solid. "Jordan Anthony, thanks." Darian Chen gestures at the others. "This is Group 7. We're all relatively new. Most of us has been training for 2 to 6 weeks. You're not too far behind." He introduces the others. There's Elena, a Russian woman in her 30s who'd been a competitive athlete on Earth before emigrating. There's David. Not the David from the Pioneer, a different David, a former construction worker from Australia. There's Amara, also not the Amara from the
ship, a Nigerian woman who'd been a police officer in Lagos. And more, 15 people total, all with different backgrounds, all united by the decision to defend Mars. Jordan notices something. About half the group are Earthborn like him, recent arrivals, refugees. The other half are Mars-born, people who grew up here, who know no other home, who are defending the only world they've ever known. There's no visible tension between the groups, no Earth versus Mars tribalism, just people working together, united by common purpose. Marcus Webb claps his hands. "All right, Group 7, let's get started. Anthony,
You're going to do a baseline assessment this morning. We need to see where you are physically, tactically, mentally. The rest of you, standard morning routine. Elena, you're leading PT today. Elena grins. With pleasure. There's something slightly predatory in her expression. Jordan suspects PT under Elena's leadership is not going to be gentle. The group disperses. Most head to the perimeter to start running. Jordan sees them accelerate, not jogging, sprinting. In the low gravity, they bound forward with each stride, covering ground impossibly fast. Darian Chen stays with Jordan and Marcus Webb. Chen's going to be your partner for the baseline, Webb explains. He's far enough along in training that he can demonstrate what we're looking for while also assessing your capabilities. Chen, take him through the standard eval. I'll observe. Darian Chen nods. Got it. Anthony, follow me. They start with physical assessment. Chen leads Jordan through a series of tests designed for Mars gravity. First, vertical jump. How high can you jump when you weigh a third of your Earth weight? Chen demonstrates, plants his feet, bends his knees, and launches. He rises 3 meters, easily, touches a marker on the wall, lands with controlled precision. Your turn, he says. Jordan positions himself, takes a breath, jumps, and soars, higher than he expected. His Earth instincts told him to jump hard, but Mars gravity multiplies the effort. He rises 4 meters, overshoots, panics slightly, lands awkwardly, stumbling. Chen laughs. Yeah, everyone does that the first time. You're strong, farm kid strong. But you're going to have to recalibrate. Mars is weird. You've got more height, less control. Learning to move efficiently here is half the battle. They continue. Sprints, climbing, obstacle navigation. Each test revealing Jordan's strengths, raw physical capability, good instincts, and his weaknesses, unfamiliarity with the environment, no formal combat training, tendency to rely on Earth-adapted movement patterns. After an hour, they move to the combat range. This is where things get serious. Chen hands Jordan a weapon. Not a Car-15 like he'd carried on the farm. This is something else. Lighter, more compact, composite materials, advanced optics. This is a Mars Defense Force standard carbine, Chen explains. Uses caseless ammunition, no brass to eject, fewer moving parts, more reliable in dust. The optics are smart. They link to your helmet display if you're in a suit, provide target tracking and range calculation. But you can also use iron sights if the electronics fail. Jordan handles the weapon, checks it with the automatic competence his father drilled into him. Safety, magazine, chamber, sight picture. Chen watches, nods approvingly. You know weapons. Good. That's going to save us time. Let's see if you can shoot. The range is sophisticated. Holographic targets appear at various distances and heights, some stationary, some moving. The scoring system tracks accuracy, speed, shot placement. Chen demonstrates first. Fires 5 rounds at targets between 50 and 100 meters. Every shot hits center mass. Fast, controlled, professional. Then Jordan's turn. He raises the carbine, settles into a firing stance his father taught him. Breathes. Focuses. The first target appears at 75 meters. He fires. The recoil is less than he expected. Mars gravity affects that, too. The round hits slightly high. He adjusts. Fires again. Center mass. Again. Again. 5 rounds. 4 hits in the kill zone. Chen whistles. Not bad for never having fired this weapon before. Your fundamentals are solid. You're anticipating the recoil slightly. Common for Earth shooters when they first get here. But you adapt fast. They run through more scenarios. Moving targets, multiple targets, targets at extreme range. Jordan performs well. Not perfectly, but well enough that Marcus Webb, watching from the observation area, nods with satisfaction. After 2 hours, they break. Chen leads Jordan to a rest area where the rest of Group 7 is recovering from their own training. They're sweating, breathing hard, but also energized in that way people get after intense physical effort. Darian Chen introduces Jordan properly this time. People are friendly, welcoming. No hazing, no posturing. Just competent professionals accepting a new member into their team. Elena, the Russian woman who'd led PT, offers Jordan a water pouch. You did good on the range. Webb was impressed. I could tell. How could you tell? Jordan asks. She grins. He didn't stop you. If Webb thinks you're wasting his time, he'll pull you off the range in 30 seconds. You shot for 2 hours. That means he sees potential. They eat lunch together. The food is the same nutrient-optimized meals Jordan had at breakfast, but there's variety. Protein bars with different flavors, reconstituted vegetables from the agricultural chambers, something that's supposedly chicken but tastes slightly off, probably plant-based protein textured to mimic meat. Conversation flows. People asking Jordan about Earth, about South Africa, about his journey. He tells them. The farm, the raid, the escape, his father's detention. When he mentions his father, the mood shifts, becomes more serious. Because almost everyone here has a similar story. Family left behind, losses, sacrifices made to get to Mars. David, the Australian construction worker, says quietly, "My brother was EGC enforcement. He was one of the ones implementing the agricultural quotas that destroyed farms like yours. We don't talk anymore. Don't even know if he'd help me if I went back." Amara adds, "I arrested people for economic crimes, breaking price controls, operating unlicensed businesses. I enforced laws I knew were wrong because I had a family to feed. Then I realized I was part of the problem, so I left." These aren't simple stories. These aren't clean narratives of good guys and bad guys. These are people who lived in complicated systems, made complicated choices, and eventually decided they couldn't live with the compromises anymore. Just like Jordan, just like his family. Afternoon training is tactical. Marcus Webb lectures on Mars-specific combat considerations. "Everything you know about tactics from Earth is partially wrong here," Webb says. He's standing in front of a holographic display showing Martian terrain. Gravity changes engagement ranges, changes how fast people can move, how high they can jump, how much equipment they can carry.
A soldier on Earth carrying 30 kilograms of gear is burdened. Here, that same gear weighs 10 kilograms. You can carry more, move faster. But so can the enemy. Ballistics change too. A bullet fired here travels the same speed, but trajectory calculations are different. Less gravity means less drop, longer effective range. But also, thin atmosphere means less air resistance at first, but it also means no atmospheric braking if you're trying to slow down something moving fast. He switches the display, shows a dome structure. Our biggest vulnerability is infrastructure, domes, pressure seals, life support systems. An attacker doesn't need to kill us directly. They just need to breach a dome, contaminate a water supply, disrupt power generation. We die from environmental exposure. That means defense isn't just about stopping armed attackers. It's about protecting systems, about redundancy, about having plans within plans so that if one system fails, others compensate. Jordan listens intently. This is different from hunting, different from the tactics his father taught him for dealing with poachers or dangerous animals. This is warfare, systematic, strategic, lethal. Webb continues. Earth has advantages, more resources, more people, more industrial capacity. They can build larger weapons, larger ships, throw more mass at problems.
But they have a critical disadvantage: distance. Any attack from Earth takes time, months. We see it coming, we can prepare, we can counter. And if they destroy Mars, if they succeed in killing all of us, they lose the scientific knowledge, the genetic research, the technological advances we've developed. They gain nothing. That's mutually assured destruction, but asymmetric. Earth can hurt us worse than we can hurt them. But hurting us costs them too, and that creates a deterrent. Our job, your job, is to make attacking Mars so expensive, so difficult, so costly, that Earth decides it's not worth it. We're not trying to win a war. We're trying to prevent one by making the price too high. It makes sense, brutal sense, nature's sense. Make yourself expensive to kill, and predators look elsewhere for easier prey. Training continues until late afternoon. By the time Marcus Webb calls an end to the day, Jordan is exhausted in ways he hasn't been since his last multi-day hunt in the bush. Not just physically tired, mentally drained. Information overload, new skills, new concepts, new understanding of how complex and dangerous his new world really is. Chen walks him back to the elevator. First day always hits hard, gets easier, your body adapts, your mind adapts. Give it 2 weeks and this will feel normal. Does it ever feel good? Jordan asks. Chen considers. Sometimes, when you nail a drill perfectly, when you solve a tactical problem nobody else figured out, when your team executes flawlessly. Those moments, yeah, they feel good. But mostly it's just work. Hard, necessary work. They reach the elevator. Chen extends his hand again. You did well today, Anthony. Webb doesn't say it, but I can tell. You've got the foundation. Rest up. Tomorrow we go harder. Jordan shakes his hand. Thanks, Chen, for everything. Darian, Chen says. Call me Darian, or Chen if you want to keep it formal. But we're partners now. Might as well use names. Jordan rides the elevator up through the levels. Minus 900 meters, minus 600, minus 3. He emerges at his residential level, feeling like he's been beaten with hammers. Every muscle aches. His head throbs with information overload. He wants nothing more than to collapse in his apartment, shower, eat, sleep. But when he reaches his building, Gabriella is waiting in the common garden. She's sitting on a bench beneath one of the modified apple trees, reading something on a tablet. Her blonde hair catches the filtered dome light, and for a moment, Jordan just watches her. The way she's completely absorbed in whatever she's reading.
the slight furrow of concentration between her brows. She looks up, sees him, smiles. There you are. I was starting to think Marcus Webb had killed you on the first day. Jordan
Limps over, drops onto the bench beside her. Came close. How did you know? Your mom told me you'd be at level 9 all day. I've been learning about the training program. It's intense. That's one word for it, Jordan says. Then, how was your day? Systems coordination? Gabriella's face lights up. Amazing. Jordan, the systems here, the AI coordination, the network architecture, the way everything interconnects, it's the most sophisticated thing I've ever seen. And they're giving me real responsibility already, not just observing, actually contributing. They've got me working on optimizing the mining vehicle routes. The AI is good, but there are inefficiencies in how it prioritizes loads versus energy consumption. I think I can improve throughput by maybe 2%, just by adjusting the weighting algorithms. She's excited, animated, and Jordan is happy for her, really happy. She's found her place. But he also feels the distance opening. She's talking about algorithms and network protocols. He's been learning how to kill people efficiently in Mars gravity. Different paths, already diverging. That's great, he says, and means it. You're going to do amazing work here. Gabriella studies him, her green eyes, more blue in the evening light, searching his face. You okay? You look, I don't know, worried. Jordan wants to lie, to say he's fine, everything's great, first day went well. But that's not honest, and Gabriella deserves honesty. I'm tired, he admits, and a little overwhelmed. What they're preparing us for, it's real. Webb isn't playing games. He's training us to fight, to defend this place against Earth when Earth decides to take it. Do you think it'll come to that? Gabriella asks quietly. Jordan thinks about everything Webb said, about the economic embargoes, about Earth's inability to tolerate Mars's existence, about the inevitable collision between freedom and control. Yeah, he says, I think it will. Maybe not tomorrow, maybe not this year, but eventually. They sit in silence for a moment. The common garden around them is peaceful. People are walking paths between the buildings. A robot, one of the small maintenance units, is trimming grass with quiet precision. Everything normal, safe. But it's fragile, all of it, held together by technology and constant vigilance, and the knowledge that beyond the dome, Mars is trying to kill them every second of every day. I'm scared, Gabriella admits, of what's coming, of what it means. But I'm also, she searches for the word, determined? Is that the right word? Like, I didn't come 34 million kilometers just to give up when things get hard. Jordan nods. Determined. Yeah, that's the word. She leans against him slightly, just her shoulder touching his, a small gesture of connection. Comfort. And they sit there as the artificial day transitions to artificial evening, the dome lighting gradually dimming to simulate sunset. The city settling into its night routine. Two refugees from Earth. Two people building new lives on Mars.
Two people who don't know what the future holds, but who are committed to facing it. Together. For now. Jordan stands eventually, his body protesting. I should get cleaned up, eat something, sleep. Tomorrow starts at 05:30 again. Gabriella stands too. I'll let you go, but Jordan, she hesitates. I'm proud of you for doing this, for being willing to defend this place. It matters. Her words hit harder than Jordan expected. He swallows, nods. Thanks. That means a lot. She squeezes his hand, holds it for a moment, then lets go and heads toward her ground floor apartment. Jordan climbs the stairs to his own place, showers again, longer this time, letting the hot water work on his aching muscles despite the resource cost. Eats, something with protein, something with carbohydrates, fuel for recovery. Then he collapses onto his bed, stares at the ceiling for a few minutes, thinking about the day, about Chen and Elena and the others in Group 7, about Marcus Webb's lecture on asymmetric warfare, about Gabriella and the distance that's starting to open between them, and about his father, always his father, somewhere on Earth, unknown, possibly suffering. Jordan pulls out his tablet, composes a message, knowing it won't reach his father, knowing it'll be intercepted by EGC monitoring systems, but needing to write it anyway. Dad, I'm on Mars. Mom's safe. I'm training to defend this place. I wish you were here. I wish you could see what they're building. What we're building. I don't know if you'll ever read this. I don't know if you're okay. But I needed to tell you. I'm not giving up. I'm learning everything you taught me, and more. I'm becoming someone who can protect what matters. I love you. Stay strong, Jordan. He sends it into the void, knowing it'll disappear into some EGC security database, probably never seen by human eyes. But maybe, just maybe, if his father is still alive, still fighting, still holding on, maybe knowing Jordan made it to Mars, knowing he's safe, knowing he's building something worth protecting, maybe that will help. Maybe that will be enough. Jordan closes the tablet, sets his alarm. 05:30 comes early. And tomorrow, the work continues. Part 7. Steel and Synthesis. 3 weeks pass like water through fingers. Not slow, not fast, just relentless. Each day bleeding into the next with the rhythm of training, eating, sleeping, training again. Jordan's body adapts to Mars gravity. His muscles learn new patterns. His mind absorbs tactics and strategies that would have seemed impossible when he first arrived. He's becoming something different, something harder, something more capable. But also, he hopes, something still human. The morning routine has become automatic. Wake at 05:30, shower, Eat. Descend to level 9. Join Group 7 for physical training under Elena's merciless supervision. Today is sprint work. The perimeter of the gym, 200 meters around. In Mars gravity, a competent runner can cover that distance in under 20 seconds. Group 7 is expected to do it in 15. Jordan launches himself forward. Each stride is a controlled explosion. Push hard with the legs, but not too hard or you'll overshoot, lose contact with the ground, waste energy. It's a rhythm he's finally starting to understand. A dance between Earth instincts and Mars reality. He crosses the line at 14.8 seconds. Not the fastest, Darian Chen hits 13.9, but respectable. 3 weeks ago, Jordan was struggling to break 17. Progress. Measurable, undeniable progress. After PT, they transition to weapons training. This is Jordan's strongest area, but even here there's so much to learn. The Mars Defense Force carbine is just the beginning. Today, Marcus Webb introduces them to the full tactical loadout that MDF units deploy with. Modern warfare, Webb says, standing in the armory surrounded by equipment, is about systems integration. A soldier isn't just a person with a gun anymore. They're a node in a network, a platform that carries sensors, weapons, communications, and AI support that amplifies their effectiveness exponentially. He holds up what looks like a standard tactical vest. This is a 4th-generation plate carrier. The armor plates are ceramic composite, rated to stop rifle rounds up to 7.62 millimeter. But here's the interesting part. He points to a section of the plate. The material has self-healing properties, nanoscale polymers embedded in the ceramic matrix. If the plate gets hit and cracked, the polymers migrate to the damaged site and begin repair. Takes about 12 hours for minor damage, 24 for a through crack. Not instantaneous, but it means your armor can take multiple hits over the course of an engagement. Jordan examines his own plate carrier, feels the weight, surprisingly light in Mars gravity, runs his fingers over the surface. It doesn't feel high-tech, feels like normal ceramic. But the engineering hidden inside is something from science fiction. Webb continues. Communications are integrated. Your helmet has bone conduction speakers and a throat mic, encrypted channels, frequency hopping to prevent jamming. Your glasses, he holds up what looks like standard protective eyewear, are actually tactical displays, heads-up data, friendly positions,
Target tracking, thermal overlay, night vision, all controlled by eye movement and voice commands. He distributes the glasses. Jordan puts his on. The world doesn't change immediately. They look like normal ballistic glasses. But when he blinks twice rapidly, a heads-up display activates. Icons appear, overlaid on his vision. Green diamonds, showing the positions of everyone in Group 7. Blue rectangles, marking known friendly units elsewhere in the complex. A compass heading. Environmental data, temperature, pressure, time. Jordan turns his head. The display adjusts smoothly, icons staying locked to real-world positions. He focuses on Darian Chen across the room. A label appears. Chen, D, Group 7. Status, active. Thermal, Jordan says quietly. The world shifts. Colors change. People become bright shapes of body heat. The cooler walls fade to blues and purples. It's not perfect, not as clear as normal vision, but in darkness or obscured conditions, this would be invaluable. Night vision, Jordan says. Another shift. The world brightens. Shadows disappear. Everything becomes visible in shades of green. Jordan can see perfectly,
despite the armory's dim lighting. Webb nods, satisfied with their reactions. The glasses link to your carbine's optics. Whatever the weapon sees, you see. You can literally shoot around corners by holding the rifle out and using the camera feed. Modern soldiers don't need to expose themselves to engage targets. He moves to another equipment rack. Drones, 2 types. First, reconnaissance. He holds up a small quadcopter, maybe 30 centimeters across. This launches from your pack, operates autonomously or under direct control, gives you eyes above the battlefield, can see over obstacles, around buildings, into windows, transmits directly to your glasses. Second type, defensive. He shows them a smaller drone. This one is maybe 15 centimeters across. Looks more like an insect than an aircraft. These are counter-drone platforms. They launch automatically if your tactical network detects incoming hostile drones. Kamikaze interception. They'll fly into enemy drones, destroy them before they reach you. Jordan handles one of the small defensive drones. It's light, delicate looking, but the warhead, miniaturized shape charge, is very real. These are autonomous weapons, launched by AI, guided by AI, making kill decisions without human intervention. It should feel wrong, should trigger some ethical concern. But Jordan thinks about the alternative. Enemy drones reaching friendly units, exploding, killing people. And he realizes, this is just another trade-off. Autonomy for protection. Some control surrendered in exchange for survival. Webb continues the demonstration, shows them the AI support units, small tracked robots that accompany infantry units. They carry extra ammunition,
Provide mobile cover with deployable shields. Run electronic warfare packages that jam enemy communications and scramble their targeting systems. If you're wounded, Webb says, these units can also extract you. They're strong enough to lift an average person, carry them back to friendly lines. It's not comfortable, but it's better than bleeding out while your squad is pinned down. He shows them medical robots, trauma kits on treads, can reach wounded soldiers, provide immediate care, stabilize them until human medics arrive. Jordan watches a demonstration video, a robot responding to a simulated casualty, administering coagulants, sealing wounds, monitoring vital signs. It's effective, cold, precise, but also, and Jordan can't quite articulate why, it feels slightly wrong. Something about delegating the care of wounded humans to machines. Something that violates instincts about compassion and presence. But then he thinks, would you rather have a fast, efficient robot saving your life, or wait for a human medic who might not reach you in time? Trade-offs. Always trade-offs. Webb moves to firearms. The carbine you've been training with is standard infantry issue. But let's talk about what makes modern weapons different from what your grandparents used. He picks up a carbine. The basic operating principle hasn't changed. Controlled explosion propels a projectile down a barrel, same as it's been for centuries. But the details, those have improved dramatically. First, ammunition. Modern rounds use denser materials. Tungsten carbide cores instead of lead. Higher sectional density means better armor penetration. And we've increased muzzle velocity from about 900 meters per second in old 5.56 NATO to over 1,300 meters per second now. That increase in velocity changes everything. Flatter trajectory, more kinetic energy on target, less bullet drop to compensate for. Effective range extends from 300 meters to 500 plus. On Mars, he continues, this is even more pronounced. Thin atmosphere means less air resistance. Your bullets fly straighter, drop less, retain velocity better. A competent marksman can engage targets at 800 meters with iron sights. Jordan thinks about the hunting he did on the farm. His longest shot had been maybe 200 meters on a springbuck. 800 meters is a different game entirely. At that distance, you're not reading an animal's body language, predicting its movement. You're doing pure mathematics. Wind, gravity, Coriolis effect. Except on Mars, the math is different. Lower gravity, thinner atmosphere. Everything familiar becomes unfamiliar. All right, Webb says, theory time is over. Let's put this equipment through practical application. Group 7, gear up. We're running tactical scenarios this afternoon. They spend the next hour getting fitted with equipment. The plate carrier, adjusted to Jordan's torso. The helmet with integrated communications. The tactical glasses, calibrated to his eyes. The carbine with its smart optics linked to his display. Magazines loaded with training rounds. Solid projectiles that register hits electronically without actually penetrating. And drones. Each person gets 2 reconnaissance drones and 4 defensive interceptors loaded into their pack. Plus, an AI support unit assigned to each 4-person fire team. By the time Jordan is fully geared up, he's carrying maybe 20 kilograms of equipment. On Earth, that would be noticeable, but manageable. On Mars, it weighs maybe 7 kilograms. He can move fast, jump high, operate for extended periods without fatigue. This is force multiplication. This is what Webb meant about soldiers being platforms. Jordan isn't just a guy with a gun. He's a sensor node, a weapons platform, protected by autonomous systems and augmented by AI, networked with his team in real time. The tactical scenarios are brutal. Webb has set up simulated environments in the training complex. Urban terrain, mock buildings with multiple floors, windows, doorways. Open terrain, obstacles and covers spread across a large area. Close quarters, narrow corridors, limited visibility. Group 7 is divided into fire teams and run through scenario after scenario. Some are defensive, holding a position against simulated attackers. Some are offensive, clearing buildings, neutralizing threats. Some are pure chaos, responding to ambushes, adapting when plans collapse. Jordan's fire team is himself, Darian Chen, Elena, and David the Australian. They work well together. Chen is naturally tactical, thinks 3 moves ahead, coordinates movement efficiently. Elena is aggressive, pushes forward, takes calculated risks. David is steady, reliable fire support, never panics. And Jordan is learning that his hunting background translates better than he expected. Patience, observation, reading terrain, anticipating movement. These skills that seemed so specific to tracking animals turn out to be broadly applicable. During one scenario, urban environment,
They're defending a structure against multiple attackers. Jordan spots something the others miss. A drone, barely visible, hovering near a third-floor window. "Recon drone," he calls over the team channel. "Third floor, northwest window. They're mapping our positions." Chen reacts immediately. "Elena, take it out." Elena shifts her carbine, acquires the target through her optics. Fires. The training round hits the drone's camera. It tumbles out of the air. "Good spot, Anthony," Chen says. "Saved us from a flanking maneuver." It's a small thing, but it matters. Jordan is contributing, not just following orders, but actively improving the team's performance. After 6 hours of scenarios, Webb calls an end to training. Group 7 collapses in the rest area, exhausted but satisfied. "You're improving," Webb tells them. 3 weeks ago, you couldn't coordinate a simple room clearing without someone getting flagged as dead. Today, you executed a complex defense with minimal casualties. That's progress. He looks directly at Jordan. "Anthony, good tactical awareness today. Your background is showing through. Keep developing that. We need people who can read terrain and predict enemy movement." Jordan nods, accepting the praise. It feels good. Validation that he's not wasting everyone's time, that he belongs here. Chen walks Jordan back to the elevator after training. "You hungry? Group's getting dinner together. You should come." Jordan is about to agree when Chen adds, "Oh, also, Webb wants to see you tomorrow morning, before regular training. Said something about transitioning you to advanced tactics track." "Advanced tactics?" Jordan asks. Chen grins. "Means they think you're ready for more specialized training. Small unit operations, strategic thinking, command track maybe. It's good news, Anthony. Means Webb sees potential." They reach the elevator. Chen claps him on the shoulder. "Get some rest. Tomorrow's going to be interesting." Jordan rides up to the surface levels. His mind is already turning over what advanced tactics might mean. More responsibility? Leadership roles? Or just more complex training? He'll find out tomorrow. For now, he needs to eat, shower, maybe check in with Gabriella. They haven't spoken in 3 days. Their schedules have been increasingly out of sync. She's working late on some critical systems optimization project. He's been consumed by training. The distance is growing, slowly, inevitably. But that's what happens when people follow different paths. The next morning, Jordan arrives at level 9 at 0500, 30 minutes before regular training. Webb is waiting in his office, a sparse room with a desk, some chairs, screens showing tactical diagrams. "Anthony, sit." Jordan sits. Webb studies him for a moment, then, "You've adapted well. Better than expected, actually. Your baseline skills were good. Your learning curve has been steep. Chen speaks highly of your tactical instincts. Thank you, sir." Webb waves off the formality. "I'm moving you to advanced tactical training. That means splitting your time. Mornings with Group 7. You'll continue that. They're your team. Afternoons, you'll work with smaller groups on specialized skills. Leadership, strategic planning, long-range reconnaissance. There's someone I want you to work with. She's been in the program longer than you. Specialist track. She'll help bring you up to speed on the advanced material." Webb keys his comm. "Reeves,
You ready? The office door opens. A young woman enters. She's maybe Jordan's age, 18, 19 at most. Athletic build, not bulky, but clearly strong. Dark hair pulled back in a practical ponytail. Brown eyes that assess Jordan with professional interest. She moves with confidence, someone comfortable in her own skin.
Jordan Anthony, Webb says. This is Specialist Kira Reeves. She's been training for 8 months, top performer in her cohort. She'll be your partner for advanced tactical work. Kira extends a hand. Anthony, good to meet you. Webb says you've got solid fundamentals. That'll make this easier. Jordan shakes her hand. Her grip is firm, direct. Kira, thanks. I'll try to keep up. She smiles slightly. You'll be fine. I've watched some of your scenario recordings. You've got good instincts. We'll refine them. Webb stands. All right, Reeves, take him to advanced tactics. Get him oriented. Anthony, you'll split your schedule starting today. 0600 to 1200 with Group 7, 1300 to 1800 with advanced tactics. Questions? No, sir. Good. Dismissed. Kira leads Jordan out of the office, down corridors he hasn't explored yet. Level 9 is larger than he realized. The gym and training complex he's been using are just one section. There are other areas, more specialized facilities. Advanced tactics is smaller, Kira explains as they walk. Only about 20 people right now. We focus on command-level skills, planning operations, coordinating multiple units, thinking strategically rather than just tactically. Why me? Jordan asks. I've only been training 3 weeks. Kira glances at him. Webb doesn't pull people up to advanced without reason. He sees something in you. Leadership potential, probably, or strategic thinking that goes beyond just following orders. She stops at a door, keys in an access code. This is the AT complex. Welcome to the next level. The space beyond is different from the main gym, smaller, more focused. One wall is covered in screens showing real-time data from Mars settlements, satellite feeds, security reports, resource distribution, population data. Another wall has tactical maps, Mars terrain, settlement layouts, theoretical attack vectors. And people. Maybe a dozen right now, working at terminals or discussing scenarios in small groups. They look older than Group 7, more experienced, more serious. This is where Mars trains its officers, its strategic thinkers, the people who will plan and coordinate defense when Earth eventually comes. Kira introduces Jordan to a few people. Most nod politely but don't engage. They're focused on their work. One man, though, approaches. He's maybe 30, tall, well-built. He moves with the kind of casual confidence that Jordan instinctively distrusts. Too smooth, too aware of his own presence. So this is the farm kid everyone's talking about, the man says. His tone isn't quite mocking, but it's not quite respectful either. Webb's latest project. Kira's expression tightens slightly. Lieutenant Vasquez. This is Jordan Anthony. Vasquez extends a hand. Jordan shakes it. The grip is unnecessarily firm, a dominance play. Anthony. Marcus Vasquez. I run the tactical simulation section. You'll be working with me on scenario planning. Jordan nods. Looking forward to it. Sure you are, Vasquez says. His smile doesn't reach his eyes. Just try to keep up. Advanced tactics isn't for everyone. Some people wash out back to regular training. He walks away before Jordan can respond. Kira exhales. Don't worry about Vasquez. He's prickly, thinks everyone needs to prove themselves to him personally. But he's good at what he does. You'll learn from him even if you don't like him. He always like that? Jordan asks. Kira shrugs. With new people, yeah. He mellows once you prove you're serious. Or he doesn't. Hard to tell with him. She leads Jordan to a workstation. All right, let's get you oriented. Advanced Tactics has 3 components. Strategic planning, that's what Vasquez handles. Communications and coordination, that's Lieutenant Park's domain. And field operations, that's mine. We'll start with field operations since that's where your skills are strongest. Then gradually introduce the strategic stuff. By the time you've been here a few weeks, you'll be running full operational simulations. Jordan settles in. The workstation has multiple screens showing tactical data. Kira walks him through the interface. How to read the displays, how to input commands, how to coordinate virtual units in simulated combat. It's complex, much more complex than just being a soldier following orders. This is chess. Thinking moves ahead, considering resources, balancing objectives against casualties. They work through lunch. Kira is a good teacher, patient, clear, willing to repeat explanations when Jordan doesn't grasp something immediately. And Jordan finds himself enjoying it. Not just the tactical problem solving, but working with someone who shares his seriousness of purpose. Kira isn't like Gabriella. Gabriella is brilliant, but her focus is systems and networks, abstract problems with clean solutions. Kira is grounded in physical reality. She thinks about terrain and weapons and human behavior. It's refreshing to work with someone who speaks his language. Around 1500 hours, they take a break, head to the Advanced Tactics Commissary, smaller than the main facility, quieter. Over food, Jordan asks, "How long have you been on Mars?" "Born."
Here, Kira says. Well, technically born in orbit during my mother's transit from Earth, but I've lived on Mars my whole life. Never been to Earth. Never want to go. What brought your parents here? Same thing that brings most people. Freedom. My father was a geologist who got sick of Earth's regulatory environment. My mother was a systems engineer. They met on the colony ship, fell in love somewhere between Earth and Mars orbit. Had me 9 months after landing. She smiles slightly. Very romantic, also very practical. Mars needed people. They needed Mars. Good match. What happened to them? Jordan asks. Kira's expression clouds. Micrometeorite strike, 6 years ago. They were doing surface work, extending a habitat module. Freak accident. 1 in a million shot penetrated their shelter. They didn't suffer. Jordan doesn't know what to say. I'm sorry. Kira nods. It's Mars. It wants to kill you. You accept that or you don't live here. They accepted it. Did meaningful work. Died doing what they believed in. Could be worse. There's no self-pity in her voice, just acceptance. The kind of hard pragmatism that comes from growing up on a planet where death is always one equipment failure away. Jordan understands that mindset. It's not that different from living in the bush, where a snake bite or a buffalo charge or a drought can kill you. You respect the danger, take precautions, but you don't let fear paralyze you. What about you? Kira asks. Family? Jordan tells her. The farm, the raid, his father's detention, the escape to Mars, his mother's work. All of it spilling out more easily than he expected. Kira listens, doesn't interrupt, doesn't offer empty platitudes, just listens. When he finishes, she says, "Your father sounds tough. If anyone can survive EGC detention, it's someone like that." "I hope so," Jordan says. "But I don't know. It's been months. No word, no confirmation he's even alive." "Then assume he is until you know otherwise," Kira says firmly. "Assuming the worst helps nothing. Hope's cheap. Might as well spend it." It's practical advice. Cold, maybe, but practical. They return to training, spend the afternoon running tactical simulations. Kira throws increasingly complex scenarios at Jordan. Multi-unit coordination, resource constraints, objectives that conflict with each other, forcing prioritization. Jordan struggles with some of it, makes mistakes, gets virtual soldiers killed. But he's learning. Each iteration he improves. By 1800 hours, his brain is fried. Tactical planning is mentally exhausting in a different way than physical training. Kira signs them out. "Good first day. You've got the foundation. We'll build on it." "Thanks for the help," Jordan says. "Not help. Partnership. Webb paired us because our skills complement each other. You've got field instincts I don't have. I've got strategic training you don't have. Together, we're more effective." She heads toward the residential elevators. Jordan follows. "What level you on?" she asks. 3. You? Same. Convenient. They ride the elevator together. Small talk about training, about Group 7, about the Advanced Tactics program. Easy conversation, comfortable. When they reach level 3, Kira says, "There's a communal area in the residential section. Some of the Advanced Tactics people hang out there in the evenings. You should come by sometime, meet more of the team." Jordan nods. "I'd like that." "Good. See you tomorrow, Anthony." "Jordan. Call me Jordan." Kira smiles. "See you tomorrow, Jordan." Jordan heads to his apartment. It's later than he usually gets back. The dome's lighting is already transitioning to evening. He needs to shower, eat, maybe catch up with Gabriella if she's around. He showers quickly, changes into clean clothes, grabs a meal from his small kitchen, reconstituted protein and vegetables that taste better than they have any right to. Then, he checks his messages. There are a few. One from his mother, checking in, asking how training is going. One from Darian Chen. Group 7 is meeting tomorrow night. Jordan should come. One from Gabriella. "Jordan, sorry I've been so absent. This systems project is consuming all my time. But it's going really well. I think we're going to achieve a 12% efficiency increase in the mining operations. People are excited. I'm excited. Let's catch up this weekend. I miss you." Jordan smiles, sends a quick reply agreeing to meet this weekend. And then he sees the last message. No sender identification, just an official EGC transmission routed through Mars communications. His stomach drops. He opens it. To Jordan Anthony, from Earth Global Cooperative,
Detention Services. Sean Anthony. Detainee number 847392. This communication serves as official notification that detainee Sean Anthony, previously held at EGC Processing Facility 12, has been declared deceased as of standard date 2184.287. Cause of death: cardiovascular failure during routine interrogation. Personal effects will be processed according to EGC protocols. Next of kin notification is hereby complete. No further communication on this matter is warranted. Jordan reads it 3 times. Cardiovascular failure during routine interrogation. That's how they say it. That's how they admit torture without admitting torture. His father is dead. Sean Anthony, the man who taught Jordan to hunt, to track, to think tactically, to understand trade-offs. The man who built a farm from nothing, who stood up to EGC enforcement, who sacrificed himself so Jordan and Chloe could escape. Dead. Jordan's hands are shaking. The tablet drops from his fingers. He's standing in his small apartment on Mars, 34 million kilometers from Earth, and his father is dead. And there's nothing he can do. Nothing he could have done. He sinks onto his bed, stares at nothing. The message said cardiovascular failure, like it was natural, like his father's heart just gave out coincidentally during interrogation. But Jordan knows. Everyone knows. The EGC tortures political prisoners, uses stress positions, sleep deprivation, waterboarding, enhanced interrogation techniques that technically don't leave permanent marks, but destroy people from the inside. His father was strong, but everyone has limits, and the EGC found his. Jordan doesn't cry, can't cry. The grief is too big, too overwhelming. It's not a feeling, it's a void, an absence where his father used to be. He sits there in the dim light of his apartment, alone, processing. Eventually he sends a message to his mother. Just, "I saw the notification. I'm sorry, Mom." Then he lies back on his bed, stares at the ceiling. His father is dead. Earth killed him. And Jordan is training to fight Earth. The connection is obvious, simple, brutal. He thinks about the cheetah and the springbok, about predator and prey, about the honesty of violence in nature. Earth is the predator. Mars is the prey, and Jordan's father got caught between them. But predators can be killed. Prey can fight back. Jordan doesn't sleep much that night. When he does, he dreams of his father, of the farm, of simpler times, before everything fell apart. And when he wakes at 05:30 to start another day of training, he knows something has changed. He's not just training anymore. He's preparing for war. Part 8. Shadows and Light. The funeral is small. Not because Sean Anthony didn't matter, but because he's not here. His body is on Earth, if the EGC even bothered with a burial instead of just incinerating him like waste. So this is a memorial, a gathering of people who never met the man but who understand loss. 20 people in a small chamber on level 3. Chloe stands at the front, composed in the way only someone holding themselves together through sheer will can be composed. Jordan sits in the front row, Gabriella beside him, her hand in his. Chloe speaks about Sean, about his competence, his stubbornness, his refusal to compromise on principles even when compromise would have been easier. About how he built something from nothing and taught his son to do the same. Jordan doesn't hear most of it, can't process it. His mind is elsewhere, thinking about the last conversation with his father, about whether his father knew in those final moments that Jordan had made it to Mars, whether that brought comfort or if he died thinking his son had abandoned him. The not knowing is worse than the knowing. After the ceremony, people offer condolences. Most mean well. Some say things that are supposed to help but don't. He's in a better place. At least he's not suffering anymore. Time heals all wounds. Empty phrases, verbal reflexes. Jordan accepts them with nods and thanks because that's what you do. But then Darian Chen approaches, doesn't offer platitudes, just says, "Your father died standing for something. That matters. It doesn't make it hurt less, but it matters." Jordan looks at him, nods. Yeah, it does. And somehow, that helps more than all the empty comfort combined. Kira finds him after most people have left. She doesn't say anything, just stands beside him while he stares at the memorial display. A photograph of Sean that Chloe provided. His father, younger, smiling, holding a rifle after a successful hunt. Before the EGC, before everything fell apart. "My parents died fast," Kira says eventually. Micrometeorite, pressure loss. Unconscious in seconds, dead in minutes. I used to think that was the worst way, no time to say goodbye. But now I think maybe it was mercy. They didn't suffer, didn't know fear. Jordan swallows. My father knew. They wanted him to break, to betray my mother. He chose torture over betrayal. That's... His voice cracks. That's who he was. Kira's hand finds his shoulder, squeezes. Then he was strong. And you're his son. That strength is in you. It's not comfort exactly. It's acknowledgement, recognition. And somehow, that's what Jordan needs. Gabriella approaches cautiously. "Jordan, I'll leave you alone if you want. But if you need anything..." Jordan turns to her, sees the concern in her green eyes, the genuine care. But also, he can see it, the slight distance. She cares, but she doesn't understand, can't understand. She lost a job and a comfortable life on Earth. He lost his father to torture. Different losses, different grief. "Thank you," he says. Means it. I need some time to process. Gabriella nods. "Of course. I'm here if you need me." She leaves, and Jordan feels guilty for the relief he feels. She's trying, she's good. But right now, he needs someone who understands violence, who understands loss, who doesn't try to fix things but just acknowledges they're broken. Someone like Kira. The next morning, Jordan returns to training, Marcus Webb pulls him aside. Anthony, you don't have to be here. We can give you time. No, Jordan says. His voice is flat, hard. I need to be here. I need to. He stops. Doesn't know how to articulate it. I need to work. Webb studies him, then nods slowly. All right, but if you need to step back, I won't. And he doesn't. For the next 5 days, Jordan throws himself into training with an intensity that borders on reckless. He pushes harder in PT, stays late on the combat range, runs tactical scenarios until his eyes burn from staring at screens. He's not just training, he's punishing himself. For surviving while his father died. For being safe on Mars while his father was tortured on Earth. For the guilt that comes with relief that it's over, that his father isn't suffering anymore. Darian Chen notices. Anthony, you're going to burn out. You need to pace yourself. I'm fine. You're not fine. You're running on anger. That works for a few days, but it's not sustainable. Jordan knows he's right. But anger is easier than grief. Anger has direction, purpose. Grief is just a void. On the 6th day, Kira intervenes. She finds him on the combat range at 2200 hours. He's been shooting for 3 hours straight. His shoulder is bruised from recoil. His hands are cramping. But he keeps firing. Reload. Acquire target. Fire. Reload. Kira doesn't say anything. Just takes the position next to him. Loads her own carbine. Starts shooting. They fire in rhythm. Side by side. Not competing. Just present. After 30 minutes, Jordan's anger exhausts itself. The mechanical repetition finally breaks through the walls he's built, and suddenly he's just tired, bone-deep tired. He lowers his weapon, safes it, sits on the ground. Kira sits beside him. You can't outrun it, she says. The grief. Tried that after my parents died. Worked myself until I collapsed. Thought if I just stayed busy enough, it wouldn't catch me. Did it work? For a while. Then one day I was eating breakfast and suddenly I was crying so hard I couldn't breathe. Grief doesn't go away because you ignore it. It just waits. Jordan looks at her. So what do I do? Feel it. Let it hurt. And then keep going. Because that's what your father would want. Not for you to destroy yourself, but for you to survive, to build, to fight when fighting matters. It's simple advice, but it cuts through everything else. Jordan nods slowly. Okay. Okay, Kira echoes. Then, come on. There's somewhere I want to show you. She leads him through level 9, then up, but not to the residential levels. Higher, to level 1, just below the dome surface. They emerge into a section Jordan hasn't seen before, an observation area built into the dome's edge, floor-to-ceiling transparent panels looking out over the Martian landscape. It's night, the Martian night. Through the dome material, Jordan can see stars, millions of them, more than he ever saw on Earth because Mars has no light pollution, no thick atmosphere to dim them. The sky is a carpet of light. I come here when things get heavy, Kira says. Reminds me of scale, that our problems, as real as they are small compared to. She gestures at the cosmos. All that.
Jordan stares at the stars, at the infinite darkness punctuated by ancient light. Some of those stars are already dead, their light taking so long to reach Mars that they've burned out and collapsed before humans even existed. And yet their light remains, evidence of something that once was. "My father's dead," Jordan says. The first time he's said it out loud like that. Simple, direct. And I'm on another planet, and there's nothing I can do about it. No, Kira agrees. There's not. But you can honor him. Live the way he taught you. Fight for what matters. Build something worth protecting. That's not nothing. They stand there for a long time, watching stars, not talking, just present. And Jordan feels something shift. Not healing, not closure, but acceptance. His father is gone. That won't change. But Jordan is still here, still capable, still responsible for choosing what comes next. "Thank you," he says eventually, "for this, for not trying to fix things." Kira smiles slightly. Can't fix grief, can only walk through it. Helps to have company. "Yeah," Jordan says. "It does." Over the next 2 weeks, Jordan finds his balance. He still trains hard, still pushes himself, but not with the desperate anger of those first days, with purpose, focus, direction, and he spends more time with Kira. Their partnership in advanced tactics deepens. They complement each other, his field instincts, her strategic planning. But it's more than professional. They understand each other, share a dark humor that comes from living on a planet that wants to kill you. During a tactical scenario, they're supposed to coordinate a defense against multiple attack vectors. Kira's avatar gets flagged as dead from a simulated drone strike. Jordan, watching from the command position. "Well, that's unfortunate." Kira's voice over the comm. "Unfortunate? I just got vaporized and you call it unfortunate? I'm rethinking this partnership, Anthony." Jordan grins. "Should have watched your 6. Situational awareness, Reeves. It's basic." "I'll show you situational awareness. Just wait until it's your turn in the scenario." And sure enough, when Jordan runs the same scenario, Kira coordinates the attack so perfectly that his avatar is dead within 90 seconds. "Well," Jordan admits over the comm, "that was educational." Kira laughs. "Told you, never underestimate tactical planning. Field instincts only get you so far." It's banter, light, a release valve for the pressure they both carry. But it's also genuine. They're building something, trust, respect, something that might become more, but is
Valuable, even as it is. Gabriella notices. Of course, she notices. She and Jordan meet for dinner one evening. First time in 2 weeks their schedules have aligned. They sit in a small cafe on level 3, eating reconstituted protein that's been textured to resemble chicken. "You seem better," Gabriella says. "More stable than right after." She doesn't finish, doesn't need to. "I'm getting there," Jordan says. "Still hurts, but I'm functional." "Kira's been helping?" Gabriella asks. Her tone is neutral, careful. Jordan nods. "Yeah, she gets it. The loss, the need to channel it into something constructive." Gabriella is quiet for a moment. Then, "I'm glad you have someone who understands. I tried, but—" "You did try," Jordan interrupts gently. "And I appreciate it. But you and I, we're on different paths now. Different worlds, almost. It's not bad. It's just reality."
Gabriella meets his eyes. Her green eyes, more blue in the cafe lighting, hold something complicated. Acceptance, sadness, relief. I've been spending time with someone too, she admits. Matthew Thorne. He works in systems coordination. We've been collaborating on the mining optimization project. He's good, smart, funny, shares my interests. Jordan smiles. I'm happy for you, really. And he is, because Gabriella deserves someone who fits her world, who can share her excitement about algorithms and network architecture, who isn't preparing for war. We'll always be friends, Gabriella says. The journey here, that bonds us. But I think we both know we're not meant to be more than that. Yeah, Jordan agrees. I think we do. They finish dinner, part as friends. No bitterness, no regret. Just acknowledgement that sometimes people travel together for a while and then their paths diverge. And that's okay. Natural. Honest. Everything finding its proper place in the ecosystem. Jordan heads back to his apartment, feeling lighter, clearer. His father is dead. That won't change. But Jordan is building a life, finding his place, becoming who he needs to be. 3 days later, intelligence reports start coming in. Jordan sees them during an advanced tactics briefing. Lieutenant Park, Communications and Coordination Specialist, presents the data. We've detected anomalous communication patterns from New Shanghai settlement. Encrypted transmissions using non-standard protocols. Could be nothing, private business, personal encryption. But the timing is suspicious. She brings up a display, shows signal intercepts, traffic analysis, pattern recognition. The volume increased significantly 3 weeks ago. Then it stopped completely 5 days ago, like someone realized they were being monitored and went dark. Vasquez, still prickly, still difficult, but undeniably competent, leans forward.
Could be Earth intelligence. Could be corporate espionage. Could be smugglers. We don't have enough data to differentiate.
What's our response? Kira asks.
Park shrugs. Security is aware. They've increased monitoring, tightened access protocols on critical systems. But we can't lock down everything without disrupting normal operations. And we can't arrest people based on suspicious communication patterns.
Jordan listens, absorbs, but doesn't speak. He's too new to advanced tactics to contribute much to intelligence analysis. But something nags at him, a feeling, instinct, the kind of unease he used to get in the bush when something was off, but he couldn't identify what. After the briefing, he mentions it to Kira. Does this feel wrong to you, the timing? Kira considers. Maybe, but intelligence work is all about false positives. See 100 suspicious things, 99 are nothing. The one that matters is the one you miss. So, what do we do? Stay alert, train harder, be ready. That's all we can do. The next day, Jordan's instincts are still prickling. He can't focus during training, keeps thinking about the intelligence report, about the encrypted communications that stopped. Stopped, not continued, not increased. Stopped. Like someone completing their coordination, like someone going quiet before action. But he doesn't have evidence, just a feeling, and feelings aren't intelligence. So he pushes it down, focuses on training,
on the tactical scenarios, on preparing for threats that might come. That evening, he and Kira return to the observation area. It's become their place, where they go to decompress after long days. They sit on the floor, backs against the transparent wall, looking out at Mars. The sun is setting, a blue sunset, the Martian dust scattering light differently than Earth's atmosphere, beautiful in an alien way. "You ever think about what comes next?" Kira asks. "After training, when we're actually operational?" Jordan considers. "I try not to. Feels like tempting fate. That's superstition. Maybe. But in the bush, my father taught me, don't plan too far ahead. The environment changes. Adapt to what's in front of you." Kira smiles. Mars is the ultimate bush. Everything trying to kill you. Adapt or die. Exactly. They sit in comfortable silence, the kind of silence that comes when two people don't need to fill space with words, when just being together is enough. And then, a vibration, subtle at first, then stronger, the floor beneath them trembling. Jordan's on his feet instantly. What was that? Kira's up too, looking toward, and then they see it. In the distance, maybe 5 kilometers away. Another dome.
Structure, smaller than Elysium, one of the industrial complexes. It's on fire. Not metaphorically, actually burning. Flames visible even from here. And as they watch, a section of the dome collapses. Atmosphere venting into the Martian air. A plume of vapor that instantly freezes in the thin, cold atmosphere. "Oh God," Kira whispers. Jordan's already moving, running toward the elevator, Kira right behind him. They hit the elevator. Jordan slams the level 9 button. The capsule drops fast. Emergency protocols engaged because somewhere, alarms are screaming. Level 9. The doors open to chaos. People running, gear being distributed. Marcus Webb barking orders. The organized chaos of a military force responding to crisis. Webb sees them. "Reeves, Anthony, gear up. We're deploying to Oxygen 3. Structure breach. Casualties. We're going in for search and rescue." Jordan and Kira don't hesitate. Run to the armory, start gearing up. Plate carrier, helmet, weapon, medical supplies. Everything they've trained with for months. But this time it's real. Not a simulation, not training. Real people are dying right now. Real structure has been breached. Real atmosphere is venting. Jordan's hands are steady as he loads magazines. His mind is clear. All the grief, all the anger, all the loss, it's still there. But right now, it doesn't matter. Right now, people need help, and Jordan is ready to provide it. The transport vehicles are already loading when they reach the bay. Darian Chen is there. Group 7 is deploying. Elena, David, others, all geared up, all professional. But Jordan can see it in their faces. This is their first real deployment. First time the training becomes reality. Kira squeezes Jordan's hand briefly. "Stay close. Watch your 6. You too." They board the transport. The doors seal. Pressure equalizes for surface conditions. And as the vehicle accelerates toward the burning dome, toward the casualties, toward whatever hell awaits them, Jordan thinks about his father, about strength, about standing for something, about the cost of freedom. And he understands. This is why he's here. This is what all the training was for. Not for war, not yet, but for this moment, when people need help, when competence matters, when the training determines who lives and who dies. The transport races across the Martian surface. Ahead, the burning dome glows against the darkening sky.
and Jordan is ready. End of episode 2.